Chapter 34-43. The power of the soldier mantra was simply too shocking. Now that Lin Feng was using it, it displayed even more terrifying power. Lin Feng used the soldier mantra, a peerless technique, to control the three stone swords and directly destroy the huge vortex. The attack of the Emperor-level powerhouse was not even able to be used. The vortex was already destroyed. The Emperor-level powerhouse could no longer continue to attack Lin Feng. This is impossible! The group of great emperors could not help but roar. They could not believe what they were seeing. That was a huge vortex formed by an Emperor-level powerhouse. Now, it was destroyed by Lin Feng. Lin Feng's battle prowess was too terrifying. They were astonished. Return. Lin Feng waved his hand. After receiving Lin Feng's command, the three stone swords quickly flew toward Lin Feng. The three stone swords were as fast as lightning. They quickly flew to Lin Feng's side. Then, they were collected by Lin Feng. Lin Feng quickly flew into the distance. In the blink of an eye, he had disappeared. The speed of those great emperors was worlds apart from Lin Feng. It was impossible for them to catch up with Lin Feng. After a quarter of an hour, a terrifying aura surged out of the starry sky world. The void split open. A powerhouse stepped out. The powerhouse who walked out of the void had an extremely gloomy expression. This powerhouse was an Emperor-level powerhouse. This was none other than the Emperor-level powerhouse who attacked Lin Feng across the endless void. Sir! The surrounding great emperors bowed to the Emperor-level cultivator. If you dare to spread what happened today, don't blame me for being ruthless, the Emperor Realm Master said in a cold voice. The rest of the people could not help but tremble slightly. Yes, the great emperors hurriedly replied. Search for that brat with all our might. I don't believe that brat can escape. Next, the venerable sovereign issued an order. After receiving the order, the other cultivators quickly spread out to search for Lin Feng. However, the starry sky world was vast and boundless. How could it be easy to find Lin Feng? It was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. The Xianyuan ancient starry sky ship quickly flew through the starry sky world. Lin Feng cultivated while heading to the undying realm. He was familiarizing himself with the 3,000 great Daos that he cultivated. Of course, Lin Feng did not cultivate every day. Sometimes he would read some books about gods and demons to relax. Calculating the time, my 8-9 mysterious art is about to expire. I have to raise the level of my 8-9 mysterious art. Otherwise, I will die from the backlash of my 8-9 mysterious art. Lin Feng couldn't help but take a deep breath. His 8-9 mysteries was still at the 3rd level. If it was upgraded to the 4th level, it could temporarily resolve the current crisis. However, cultivating the 8-9 arcane art was not easy. The 8-9 mysterious art required some auxiliary methods to be successfully cultivated. If he wanted to cultivate the 8-9 mysterious art from the 3rd level to the 4th level, it would be even more difficult. Perhaps he would need some extremely terrifying destructive power to stimulate his body to activate the 8-9 mysterious art. Then, the 8-9 mysterious art would evolve again. However, Lin Feng's current physical body was too strong. Ordinary places could not cause him any harm. Not to mention stimulating the evolution of the 8-9 mysterious art. However, the starry sky world was vast and boundless. Lin Feng felt that he might be able to find such a place in the starry sky world. At this time, violent fluctuations came from the front. He saw hundreds of starry sky pirate ships besieging more than 20 ancient starry sky ships. The ancient starry sky ship being besieged was a merchant ship. In the starry sky world, there were many merchant ships. Of course, these merchant ships were not simple. They were equipped with all kinds of powerful spirit stone cannons and were escorted by experts. Ordinary starry sky pirate groups did not dare to provoke these merchant ships. However, some top starry sky pirate groups regarded these merchant ships as targets to plunder. What shocked Lin Feng was that this starry sky pirate ship turned out to be the famous sinister demon bandit group. Previously, Lin Feng killed the young leader of the sinister demon bandit group, and the sinister demon bandit group had been looking for Lin Feng. The leader of the sinister demon bandit group was an emperor-level powerhouse. Therefore, Lin Feng hurriedly changed direction and flew into the distance. Although Lin Feng sympathized with the fleet besieged by the sinister demon bandit group, but there was nothing he could do about it. The other party was a Starry Sky pirate group with an emperor-level powerhouse. At this stage, Lin Feng could not fight against this behemoth. Since he could not fight against this behemoth, he could only escape. Lin Feng had always been self-aware. He would never joke about his life. 3 days later, in the distance, more than a dozen cultivators flew over. Those cultivators were all injured, and the leader was a young master. Behind them, there was a pirate ship of the sinister demon bandit group chasing after them. Help! Help! Those people cried out for help when they saw the ancient Starry Sky ship Xianyuan. Lin Feng naturally also noticed this group of people. He opened the restrictions on the ancient Starry Sky ship Xianyuan, and let this group of people enter the ancient Starry Sky ship Xianyuan. After this group of people came in, they all lay on the deck and gasped for breath. The feeling of surviving a calamity was really good. Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, the sinister demon bandit group's pirate ship fired a dense barrage of spirit stone shells. One after another, the spirit stone cannonballs came crashing down. The power was huge. Fire! Lin Feng looked indifferent and gave the order to fire. The ancient Starry Sky ship Xianyuan was equipped with the most powerful spirit stone cannons. These spirit stone cannons were all bronze spirit stone cannons and had unimaginable power. Lin Feng gave the order. Suddenly, the puppet operating the spirit stone cannons ignited the spirit stone cannons. Boom, boom, boom. One after another, huge spirit stone cannonballs flew out. Some of the spirit stone shells collided with the other party's spirit stone shells and exploded. Some of the spirit stone shells also hit the restrictions on the other party's pirate ship. Of course, some of the spirit stone shells on the other party's pirate ship also hit the restrictions on the ancient Starry Sky ship Xianyuan. The giant spirit stone shells fired by the ancient Starry Sky ship Xianyuan were simply too powerful. In the blink of an eye, the restrictions on the pirate ship were destroyed. Then, huge spirit stone cannonballs landed on the pirate ship. The pirate ship could not resist the giant spirit stone shells fired by the ancient Starry Sky ship Xianyuan. It directly exploded into pieces. However, the ancient Starry Sky ship Xianyuan's restrictions easily blocked the spirit stone shells fired by the pirate ship. Chapter 3444. The group of people got up and came to the entrance of the cabin. "Thank you for saving us, brother!" The leading young master thanked Lin Feng. "No need to thank me. You can leave after resting well." Lin Feng's voice came from the cabin. Vaguely, the leading young master saw the young cultivator sitting cross-legged in the cabin. This made the leading young master very shocked. Such a powerful ancient Starry Sky ship was extremely rare, and the owner was such a young cultivator. Moreover, this cultivator didn't even have a guard with him when he went out. "I really don't know if it's because he's brave or because he's ignorant," the leading young master said. "Brother, you have to be more careful. This evil bandit group is very terrifying. The leader is an Emperor Realm powerhouse, so you have to be careful." "And I will remember," Lin Feng said. This group of people rested on the ancient Starry Sky ship Xianyuan for a few hours. Then they bid farewell and left. The ancient Starry Sky ship Xianyuan searched for a place in the Starry Sky world where Lin Feng could cultivate the 8 and 9 mysterious art. But they searched for many places. They couldn't find any. Until one day, Lin Feng heard someone talking about a place on a planet. The Destruction Great World. One of the 3,000 great worlds, not too far from here. That place. It contained the most terrifying destructive power. The Destruction Great World's laws were all the Destruction Great World's laws. After hearing about the Destruction Great World, Lin Feng planned to go there. Perhaps he could upgrade the 8 and 9 mysterious art to another level in the Destruction Great World. This was something that could not be delayed. Could not be delayed. 1 month later, Lin Feng saw the huge world in the depths of the starry sky world surrounded by endless destructive power. That world. It was like a giant beast entrenched in the starry sky world. It gave people a heavy sense of oppression. That great world. It was the famous destruction great world. In the starry sky world, countless cultivators gathered and flew in the direction of the destruction great world. Ancient starry sky ships also quickly flew over, flying towards the destruction great world. The destruction great world was ranked at the top of the 3,000 great worlds. Such a large world was a dazzling pearl in the starry sky world. It was the absolute center of the dozens of galaxies around. Therefore, there would be many experts arriving every day. Lin Feng flew out of the ancient starship Xianyuan. He also flew towards the world of destruction. After arriving at the major world of destruction, Lin Feng immediately felt the difference between the major world of destruction and the other major worlds. The great world of destruction was filled with the power of destruction. Therefore, the space law of the destruction major world was extremely unstable. However, this did not stop the enthusiasm of the starry sky world's cultivators. Xianming City. This was one of the 10 great ancient capitals of the great destruction world. It was extraordinarily bustling, and one couldn't see the end of it. It was said that this ancient city had existed since the primordial era. It had survived many battles and still stood strong. The mysterious underworld city was filled with experts. There were many powers. Their fangs were also intertwined as they fought against each other. The mysterious underworld city did not restrict cultivators from fighting. Therefore, the mysterious dark city wasn't a particularly safe place. Every day, there would be killings and robberies, or battles between different forces. It was unknown how many people were killed every day. It was unknown how many forces had been destroyed in the war. The old forces had perished. New forces had appeared. This was the story that happened every day in the mysterious underworld city. After Lin Feng arrived at the mysterious underworld city, he first went to the all-knowing pavilion in the mysterious underworld city to inquire about some of the dangerous places in the major world of destruction. After coming out of the all-knowing pavilion, Lin Feng found an inn to stay for the time being. He planned to rest for a few days and then explore the few dangerous places that he had found. The lanterns were lit. The mysterious underworld city was brightly lit. Such a huge ancient city was extremely lively. The nightlife began at night. Therefore, the mysterious underworld city at night was even more lively than during the day. The Fragrance Brothel. A famous brothel in the mysterious underworld city. It was said that the women there were as beautiful as fairies. Lin Feng came to the Fragrance Brothel. He had nothing to do. Naturally, he needed to find a place to relax and enjoy. The Fragrance Brothel was a good place. "Hey, brother, we meet again!" When a young man saw Lin Feng, he was overjoyed. Lin Feng looked at the young master. He realized that the young master was none other than him. It was the young master that he had saved in the extraterrestrial starry world. Lin Feng did not expect the young master to be the person who had destroyed the major world of destruction. Lin Feng nodded and said, "What a coincidence! I'm Yang Kun. How should I address you, brother?" The young master first introduced himself, and then asked, "Lin Feng." "Haha, so it's Brother Lin. Did you come here alone?" Yang Kun could not help but ask. The major world of destruction was far away from Jiuzhou. Therefore, Lin Feng was naturally not famous in the major world of destruction. Of course, perhaps some people had heard of Lin Feng's reputation. However, most people were similar to Yang Kun. They had not heard of Lin Feng's reputation and deeds at all. Lin Feng nodded and said, "That's right," Yang Kun said. "It's so boring to be alone. Why don't you follow me, Brother Lin? There's a gathering here." Lin Feng hesitated for a moment and then nodded. Lin Feng also wanted to see the cultivation level of the younger generation of cultivators in Xianming City. "Haha, Brother Lin is straightforward. Please follow me," Yang Kun said with a smile. Lin Feng followed Yang Kun to the gathering place. The gathering place was in the Heaven Room A on the 5th floor. When Lin Feng and Yang Kun arrived, there were already more than 10 cultivators sitting there. There were men and women. Lin Feng sensed their life auras. Most of them had a lifespan of around 30 to 40,000 years. Compared to their long lifespan, a lifespan of 30 to 40,000 years was naturally very young. These people were also very talented. Although they were young, they were all at the Emperor realm. There were even a few who had broken through to the Immortal Emperor realm. To be able to break through to the Immortal Emperor realm at this age was indeed very rare. They were worthy of being nurtured by any major force. Of course, although these people were extraordinary, they were not worth mentioning when compared to Lin Feng. After all, a monstrous existence like Lin Feng was too rare. In the myriad worlds, perhaps it would be difficult to find a few. Brother Yang, you're late. You'll have to punish yourself with 3 cups later, someone said with a smile. I accept the punishment, Yang Kun said with a smile. Who is this brother beside Brother Yang? Someone looked at Lin Feng in confusion. This is my friend, Lin Feng, Brother Lin, Yang Kun introduced. Everyone sensed Lin Feng's cultivation and found that Lin Feng was only at the quasi-emperor realm. They could not help but reveal a look of disdain. Chapter 34-45. Of course, he still had to give Yang Kun face, although he looked down on Lin Feng in his heart. But these people didn't say much. Yang Kun introduced the cultivators sitting here to Lin Feng. Those people just nodded at Lin Feng indifferently. They had an extremely arrogant look. Lin Feng didn't feel embarrassed about these people's attitude. People who looked down on others. Wherever he went, he would meet them. Yang Kun looked at Lin Feng with a slightly embarrassed look. Lin Feng smiled and shook his head at Yang Kun. Yang Kun knew that Lin Feng didn't take it to heart and let out a sigh of relief. Yang Kun stood up and said, Everyone! I will drink these 3 cups of wine. His voice fell. Yang Kun raised his wine cup. He drank 3 cups of wine in a row. It caused the entire hall to cheer. I heard that Brother Yang encountered danger in the starry sky world. What exactly happened? A female cultivator asked curiously. Yang Kun sighed and said, At that time, our Yang family's fleet encountered the evil demon bandit group and suffered heavy casualties. In the end, only a dozen people escaped. Yang Kun didn't tell them about Lin Feng's matter, because Lin Feng's Xianyuan ancient starry sky ship was too precious. He was worried that after telling them about this matter, Lin Feng would be remembered by others. This was not something Yang Kun wanted to see. Yang Kun's gratitude towards Lin Feng came from the bottom of his heart. He naturally hoped that Lin Feng would be safe and sound. Brother Yang is really amazing. You can even escape from the evil demon bandit group. If you survive a great disaster, you will definitely have good fortune in the future, a cultivator said. I hope so, Yang Kun said. At this time, another cultivator said, I heard that recently, the evil demon bandit group has been searching for the whereabouts of a person and has even issued a warrant for his arrest. The reward is extremely generous. It's just that I don't know the identity of the wanted person, a female cultivator said. I also heard about this matter. It is said that the wanted person killed the son of the evil demon bandit group's leader, Xie Duanhuan. What? There's such a thing? Many people couldn't help but reveal shocked expressions when they heard this. The leader of the demonic bandits was an Emperor Realm Master, yet someone dared to kill the son of an Emperor Realm Master. He really didn't want to live anymore. This matter is absolutely true. It's just that the place where it happened is very far from here, so the people who know about it are extremely limited, the female cultivator said. Who is so daring as to kill the son of the sinister bandits' leader? Someone asked curiously. The female cultivator shook her head and said, I'm not sure about that. This group of people talked about a lot of things, and one of their discussions caught Lin Feng's attention. This matter was related to one of the 3,000 Great Taos. And this 3,000 Great Tao was actually the Great Wish Art. In the northernmost part of the world of destruction, there was an endless primeval forest. In the primeval forest, there was a place called the Heavenly Mountain Range. About a month ago, there were waves of majestic sounds coming from the Azure Mountain Range. Those voices were all the great wishes of the cultivators. Some experts headed to the Upper Tsung Mountain Range and heard the majestic voices. They were extremely shocked. It was said that the powerhouse had seen someone use the Great Wish Art in the past, so he had a deep impression of the Great Wish Art. That powerhouse suspected that the 3,000 Great Tao, the Great Wish Art, was in the Azure Mountain Range. However, the Azure Mountain Range was a land of death in the world of destruction. That place couldn't be entered easily, and danger lurked everywhere. It was extremely dangerous. If anyone dared to enter rashly, they would definitely die. Therefore, even though it was very likely that the Great Wish Art was in the Azure Mountain Range, no one dared to enter the Azure Mountain Range to search for it. Now, many top forces were thinking of ways to enter the Azure Mountain Range to search for the Great Wish Art. Lin Feng had been coveting the Great Wish Art for a long time. In the past, the Red World Fairy had used the Great Wish Art, which was extremely heaven-defying. Therefore, Lin Feng also wanted to cultivate the Great Wish Art. He wanted to see if he could cultivate this heaven-defying ability, which was said to be the most difficult to cultivate among the 3,000 Great Tao. Therefore, after hearing about the Great Wish Art, Lin Feng had the idea of going to the Azure Mountain Range to explore it. Moreover, the Azure Mountain Range was one of the few places that Lin Feng had planned to go. It was a land of death in the world of destruction. Danger lurked everywhere in the Azure Mountain Range. It was definitely an extremely dangerous place. Moreover, there was definitely a place that could allow the 8-9 arcane art to evolve again. The banquet ended. Lin Feng and Yang Kun left together. "My uncle is holding a birthday banquet tomorrow. Can Brother Lin come?" Yang Kun asked. "It's not convenient," Lin Feng said. He had no interest in this so-called birthday banquet. There will be many experts coming after the banquet. At that time, it is said that there will be a trade fair. Perhaps there will be something that Brother Lin needs at the trade fair, Yang Kun continued. Lin Feng had no interest in Yang Kun's uncle's birthday banquet, but he was a little interested in the trade fair. Lin Feng liked to look for things he needed at trade fairs. "All right then. I will definitely go tomorrow," Lin Feng said. Yang Kun said, "Brother Lin, you don't have to go personally. I will come and pick you up when the time comes. I will send Brother Lin back now so that I can find out where Brother Lin lives." "That's fine too," Lin Feng nodded. After returning to his residence, Yang Kun stayed for a while. He then bid farewell and left. In the blink of an eye, it was the next day. Yang Kun personally came to Lin Feng's residence and invited Lin Feng to visit the Yang clan. In Mysterious Dark City, there were 16 powerful forces, 1 sect, 7 schools, and 8 palaces. The Yang clan was attached to the Moon God sect, one of the 7 schools. The Moon God sect was a force with a long history and was extremely powerful. Therefore, many forces attached themselves to the Moon God sect. These forces would pay tribute to the Moon God sect every year. As for the Moon God sect, they would protect these tributes. On the way, Lin Feng had a certain understanding of the Yang clan from Yang Kun. The current patriarch of the Yang clan was Yang Kun's uncle, Yang Tianwen. He had cultivated for 620,000 years and was at the second heaven of the Imperial Emperor realm. At the same time, he was the #1 expert of the Yang clan. In Mysterious Dark City, he could also be ranked in the top 50 experts. At the same time, Lin Feng inquired about the situation of the expert who destroyed the Great World. The realm master who destroyed the Great World was said to be a sage emperor-level expert, and was extremely mysterious. In addition, there were also 10 emperor-level experts who destroyed the Great World. These 10 emperor-level experts were the city lords of the 10 great ancient cities. They also lived in seclusion and rarely came out. Other than these experts, there were also the leaders of the sects, 7 schools, and 8 palaces. Chapter 34-46. The Yang clan was extremely lively, with people coming and going, and guests coming and going constantly. The Yang clan was not a top faction. However, it was still a reputable figure in mysterious underworld city. A large number of guests came and presented their gifts. Then, these guests were welcomed into the inner hall. After arriving at the Yang clan, Lin Feng handed over the gifts he had prepared to the master of ceremonies. Yang Kun did not stay by Lin Feng's side. As a direct descendant of the Yang clan, he still needed to entertain other guests. Lin Feng saw Yang Tianwen. Yang Tianwen looked to be in his 40s and was in the prime of his life. After the birthday banquet ended, a portion of the cultivators stayed behind to participate in the small trade fair. Lin Feng frequently traded at the small trade fair. He exchanged many things he needed with others, especially the dozens of insect materials used to cultivate the Emperor Archaic, Primordial Ancestral Insect, and Desolate Demon Refining Insect. Lin Feng was very satisfied with his harvest. After the small trade fair ended, people left one after another. Some chose to stay for the night. Only then would they leave. Yang Kun invited him warmly, so Lin Feng planned to rest for a while before leaving. The Yang clan's patriarch, Yang Tianwen, hosted a banquet to entertain a dozen cultivators, including Lin Feng. Other than Lin Feng, the others had extraordinary backgrounds and had close ties with Yang Tianwen. Yang Tianwen had 3 sons and 1 daughter. His eldest son was called Yang Qian. His second son was called Yang Hai. His third son was called Yang Jiang. The 3 of them were quite talented. His second and third sons were both god emperors. As for his eldest son, he was an immortal emperor. As for Yang Tianwen's daughter, she had never appeared. Lin Feng heard from Yang Kun that his cousin was one of the 3 great beauties of mysterious underworld city. She had countless suitors. She was a goddess in the hearts of countless people. "Kuener, is this young friend of yours?" asked Yang Tianwen while glancing at Lin Feng. Immediately after, he turned around and looked at Yang Kun. Yang Kun said, "Yes, uncle. This is my friend Lin Feng. He's also here to celebrate uncle's birthday. Little friend, you are too kind." Yang Tianwen couldn't help but say, "That's what I should do," Lin Feng said. Yang Tianwen nodded his head and did not pay too much attention to a young cultivator like Lin Feng. This was a private banquet after the birthday banquet. Therefore, there weren't that many rules. "I heard that Brother Yang's daughter is cultivating under Fairy Yuanfa? I wonder if the rumors are true?" At this moment, someone asked. This Fairy Yuanfa was a rather famous expert in the Destruction Major world. It was said that she was an Emperor Ancestor level expert. A cultivator of this level could contend with the leaders of the top 10 ancient cities in the Great Destruction world. "That's right. Laoner is indeed cultivating under Goddess Yuanfa. This child's talent is not bad. To be able to receive guidance from Goddess Yuanfa is this child's fortune." Yang Tianwen smiled and said, "I don't think I've seen Laoner at this birthday banquet," a female cultivator said. "A few years ago, I left the Destruction world with Fairy Yuanfa. However, I received a letter some time ago and will be returning in a few days," Yang Tianwen replied. Obviously, Yang Tianwen was extremely satisfied with this daughter. Moreover, Yang Tianwen already had 3 sons. Yang Laoner was Yang Tianwen's youngest daughter. Naturally, he doted on his youngest daughter even more. He, I seem to hear everyone talking about Laoner." Just at this moment, a gentle and pleasant laughter came from outside. Then, a woman in a blue dress walked into the hall. This woman was tall. She was wearing a long blue dress that revealed her tall and slender figure. This woman had a delicate face that could be broken by the wind. It was a face that seemed to be made by nature. It was like a masterpiece of the heavens. So beautiful that it was suffocating. "Fourth sister! You're back!" Yang Qian and the others couldn't help but show joy when they saw this woman. This woman was obviously Yang Laoner. "Brothers!" Yang Laoner bowed to her 3 brothers and then came to Yang Tianwen's side. She took out a white jade box and said, "Father, this is a 9 spirits return pill. It's a gift from your daughter to you. What? 9 spirits return pill? That's an immortal pill. Yang Tianwen couldn't help but be shocked. That's right, it's an immortal pill. I obtained it when I was training outside. This immortal pill can greatly increase a cultivator's soul force. It's a peerless soul treasure and is greatly beneficial to father's cultivation, Yang Laner said. The surrounding guests all looked at Yang Tianwen with envy. One of them said, Brother Tianwen is really lucky to have such a beautiful and promising daughter like Laner. How enviable! The rest of the people also chimed in. Yang Tianwen also felt very proud and couldn't help but smile and say, Laner, this girl has been here for so many years. She is indeed very outstanding. Laner pays her respects to the seniors. Yang Laner bowed to the surrounding guests. This is... Yang Laner saw Lin Feng. Because among the guests present, only Lin Feng was very young. Moreover, Lin Feng's gaze was fixed on her. This caused Yang Laner to frown slightly. She was a little unhappy and couldn't help but look down on Lin Feng a little. Yang Tianwen and Yang Laner's brothers, as well as the guests, had also noticed that Lin Feng had been sizing up Yang Laner. Those people couldn't help but look down on Lin Feng a lot more in their hearts. A person who was infatuated with women. He definitely wouldn't have any great achievements. Of course. They still had to give Yang Kun face, so they didn't say much. After hearing Yang Laner's question, Lin Feng came back to his senses. After seeing Yang Laner just now, Lin Feng was a little lost in thought. Because Yang Laner and Hui Han had some similarities. In a trance, Lin Feng even thought that the person who appeared in front of him was Hui Han, who was sleeping in the 3 lives 3 worlds coffin, who had woken up. However, Lin Feng knew Yang Laner wasn't Hui Han. Although they had some similarities, it was obvious that they weren't the same person. Whether it was their demeanor or personality, they weren't the same person. Lin Feng could see the mocking expression in the depths of Yang Laner's eyes. However, Lin Feng didn't care. He cupped his fists and said, Yang Kun's friend, surnamed Lin, named Feng. Oh! Yang Lan responded, and then ignored Lin Feng. He was just a nobody. She didn't care about him. Boom! At this moment, a terrifying aura suddenly filled the air. Outside, the demonic fog rolled, and that cloud of demonic fog occupied the top of the Yang family. Devil Dao expert! He's coming with ill intentions. After sensing the aura outside, Yang Kun's expression changed slightly, and his voice was somewhat solemn. Chapter 3447. Look! A cloud of demonic fog has appeared above the Yang clan. It seems to be a demon Dao expert. That expert is openly releasing his powerful aura. Clearly, he doesn't come with good intentions. That's right. I wonder who that person is. Let's go and take a look. Dark Nether City. Countless cultivators could not help but exclaim in shock. Then, they quickly flew toward the Yang clan. He's at least a 3rd or 4th Heaven Imperial Emperor. Lin Feng could not help but raise his eyebrows. The other party was definitely a terrifying existence. Who are you? Why have you come to my Yang clan? Yang Tianwen's expression turned solemn. Although he was also in the Imperial Emperor realm, he was only a 1st Heaven Imperial Emperor realm cultivator. Naturally, he could not fight against this existence. Yang Tianwen! My master wants me to ask you something. Is the item in your Yang clan's collection still here? The terrifying existence in the demonic fog said coldly. That existence didn't mention what he was talking about because he knew that Yang Tianwen definitely knew what he was talking about. Yang Tianwen's expression changed when he heard the cultivator's words. He said in a deep voice, I don't know what you're talking about. Our Yang clan doesn't have what you need. Please leave. Ha ha. If our master says we have it, then we have it. The existence in the demonic fog laughed loudly. Who is your master? Yang Tianwen asked in a deep voice. My master is Ling Shuzi. The existence in the demonic fog said in a sinister voice. What? Ling Shuzi is your master? Yang Tianwen's expression changed drastically. Many people's expressions changed abruptly. Ling Shuzi was a terrifying existence. It was said that he had obtained a great opportunity. It seemed like he was not far from breaking through to the sovereign realm. This existence occupied a star field and built Ling Shuzi Mountain. This existence and the forces that destroyed the great world had always minded their own business. Now that he had sent a subordinate here, it seemed like he had obtained extremely accurate information. Since you know my master's reputation, you should cooperate obediently. The terrifying existence in the demonic fog continued. Yang Tianwen's expression was extremely ugly. That item was definitely not to be handed over. He said in a deep voice, Master Ling Shuzi must be mistaken. Our Yang family doesn't have the item that you want. If you don't believe me, I can open the door of the treasury and let you search for it. The being in the demonic fog said coldly, Do you think I'm a 3-year-old child? Wouldn't it be easy to hide a treasure? Why put it in the treasury? My master has already given the order to give you 3 days to prepare. If you dare to disobey, your entire Yang family will be wiped out. In 3 days I will be here. Whether you hand over that thing or your entire clan will be wiped out, it's up to you. After the being in the demonic fog finished speaking, it quickly flew into the distance. Brother Dugu, please help our Yang family. Yang Tianwen quickly looked at a middle-aged cultivator. The cultivator Yang Tianwen addressed as Brother Dugu was an elder of the Divine Moon sect. He was called Dugushan. He had a high position and authority. When Dugushan heard Yang Tianwen's cry for help, he said with a fake smile, Brother Yang, that Ling Shuzi is a ruthless person. Our Divine Moon sect can't afford to offend him. However, since he wants that item, we'll just have to hand it over. I'm afraid. Even if we hand it over, our entire Yang family will still be wiped out. Yang Tianwen said with an ugly expression. Ling Shuzi was ruthless. The item the Yang family had should be extremely extraordinary. To keep it a secret, Ling Shuzi could indeed wipe out the entire Yang family. These experts. Which one of them wasn't in existence that killed without batting an eyelid? Ling Shuzi. He was one of the best among them. When Dugushan heard Yang Tianwen's words, he knew that this matter might be more troublesome than he had imagined. He said, Brother Yang, you're on your own now. After Dugushan said that, he quickly left. As for the others, they didn't dare to stay. They didn't even dare to say another word to Yang Tianwen, afraid that they would get into trouble. They all quickly left. These people are all greedy and afraid of death. Previously, they called father his brother, but now that our Yang family is in trouble, they're all running away faster than the other. How hateful! Yang Hai couldn't help but say viciously. Now, his face was extremely pale because he had a premonition of the seriousness of the matter. Not only Yang Hai, but everyone in the Yang family present was as pale as a sheet, their eyes filled with horror. Why don't we run away quickly? Yang Kun said. Yang Tianwen shook his head and said, There's no way we can escape. Why don't we go to the Moon God sect and plead for mercy? Yang Qian said. Yang Tianwen sighed and said, Dugushan's attitude just now is the Moon God sect's attitude. The Moon God sect won't interfere in this matter. Yang Jiang said viciously, Our Yang family pays so many tributes to the Moon God sect every year, but the Moon God sect doesn't help us. I curse this faction to be reduced to ashes in the future. Yang Tianwen looked at Yang Lan'er and asked, Lan'er, can you go and beg Fairy Yuanfa? Perhaps she can save our Yang family. Yang Lan'er said, My master isn't destroying the world. Hearing this, the group of Yang family members all showed deep despair. Yang Lan'er said, But don't worry, father. I have a friend coming tomorrow. My friend will definitely solve our Yang family's crisis. After hearing Yang Lan'er's words, the group of Yang family members' eyes lit up. Good, good, good. That's great. Yang Tianwen smiled. He continued, Lan'er, you must be tired from the long journey. Go to your room and rest for a while. Okay. Yang Lan'er nodded and left the hall. Yang Tianwen, Yang Qian, Yang Hai, and Yang Jiang also walked out. Before leaving, Yang Qian glanced at Lin Feng, then looked at Yang Qian and said, Brother Kun, when making friends, you should make friends with people of the same status as us. Don't casually make friends with people without status, or people with no status. After saying that, Yang Qian, Yang Tianwen, and the others left together. Brother Lin, I'm really sorry. I didn't expect cousin to say something like that. Yang Kun's face revealed an extremely awkward expression. Lin Feng smiled and said, It's fine. In any case, I'm not making friends with them. I'm making friends with you, Brother Yang. Yang Kun said, Brother Lin is really magnanimous. It's admirable. After pausing for a moment, Yang Kun continued, Now that the Yang family is facing the danger of being exterminated, I'm worried that cousin's friend won't really have a way to solve our Yang family's crisis. Brother Lin has nothing to do with this matter. For safety's sake, Brother Lin should leave first. Lin Feng smiled and said, I feel that Yang Lanner's friend might really be a powerful person. I want to stay and watch the show. Chapter 34-48. The next day, the Yang family was decorated with lanterns and decorations. It was even more magnificent than when Yang Tianwen celebrated his birthday. What the hell is the Yang family doing? They're about to be exterminated, and they're still doing this? That's right, I wonder what the Yang family is thinking. The people outside couldn't help but be puzzled when they saw the decorations of the Yang family. The Yang family? Now they were in danger. However, the Yang family's actions were too abnormal. Many forces lingered around the Yang family, wanting to see what the Yang family was up to. In the afternoon, a very handsome young master came to the Yang family. Yang Tianwen led everyone from the Yang family out to welcome this young master. Senior brother Zhao, you're here! After seeing this handsome man, Yang Lan revealed a look of joy. This cultivator was called Zhao Fanxian. This Zhao Fanxian was not a simple person, his family ruled a huge star field. Although Zhao Fanxian was not a direct descendant of the family. However, because of his outstanding talent, Zhao Fanxian's status in the Zhao family was not inferior to the direct descendants. Yang Lanner had met Zhao Fanxian when she went out with her master. She had seen Zhao Fanxian fight with an Imperial Emperor-level cultivator and not lose. This showed how powerful Zhao Fanxian's cultivation was. Zhao Fanxian had the intention to pursue Yang Lanner. However, Yang Lanner heard that Zhao Fanxian was a womanizer. Moreover, he had abandoned many women after having sex with them. Therefore, Yang Lanner did not accept Zhao Fanxian's pursuit. Previously, when Yang Lanner returned to the great world of destruction, Zhao Fanxian told her that he would come later. Now Yang Lanner hoped to use Zhao Fanxian to intimidate Ling Xuzi. So this is nephew Zhao. What a talent, a dragon among men! At this moment, Yang Tianwen said with a smile. This must be Uncle Yang. Fanxian greets Uncle Yang. Not only was Zhao Fanxian handsome, but he was also very polite. Haha, nephew, you don't have to be so polite. Let's go in and talk. Yang Tianwen said with a smile. Following that, a group of people entered the Yang family. Isn't that guy Zhao Fanxian? When did the Yang family have a relationship with Zhao Fanxian? A cultivator recognized Zhao Fanxian's identity and said aloud. Zhao Fanxian? Who was this person? I've never heard of it before. Someone asked doubtfully. There's a northern sacred star field 30 million kilometers northwest of the destruction world. The master of that star field was Zhao Fanxian's family. Zhao Fanxian has only cultivated for 18,000 years this year, but it is said that his battle prowess is extremely terrifying. He can even kill the giant astral beasts. The cultivator said. This person is actually so terrifying. Gasps could be heard one after another. Many people couldn't help but reveal a shocked expression on their faces. Zhao Fanxian was so young, but he was actually so powerful. It was truly inconceivable. At this moment, someone else said, I've heard of this Zhao Fanxian. He has great talent and cultivation, but his character isn't very good. It's said that he likes to play with other people's feelings. Many women have been played with by Zhao Fanxian and then abandoned by him. I think this Zhao Fanxian has most likely hooked up with Yang Lan'er. Those women are also cheap. She clearly knew that Zhao Fanxian's character wasn't good, yet she still followed him. She deserved to be abandoned. That's right. There weren't many good gigolos. Following someone like Zhao Fanxian, they only have themselves to blame. Many people couldn't help but say sourly. In fact, they dreamed of becoming someone like Zhao Fanxian, who had seen all the beauties in the world. Just thinking about it, they all felt extremely excited. The Yang family attached great importance to Zhao Fanxian's arrival because the Yang family saw Zhao Fanxian as their life-saving straw. After the host and guests were seated, Yang Tianwen said with a smile, "I heard that nephew came specially for Lan'er. For my family's Lan'er to be able to obtain the love of such a genius like nephew, it's really her blessing of 3 lifetimes of cultivation." This Yang Tianwen was indeed an old fox. When he said these compliments, his face didn't turn red and his heart didn't beat fast. Lin Feng, who was sitting next to Yang Kun, felt embarrassed for Yang Tianwen. However, Yang Tianwen remained calm and collected. His face had really been trained to a certain level. Zhao Fanxian said, "Uncle's words are too much for nephew. Lan'er's beauty, even the fairy 9 heavens, is far from comparable. To be able to meet Lan'er in this life is nephew's honor." This Zhao Fanxian was clearly a very scheming person. His words immediately made Yang Tianwen smile. And Yang Lan'er's beautiful face couldn't help but reveal a smile. At this moment, Yang Tianwen gave Yang Lan'er a look. Yang Lan'er understood. Then she said, "Senior brother Zhao, now that our Yang family has encountered some danger, I hope that senior brother Zhao can make a decision for our Yang family." Zhao Fanxian was thinking about how to get Yang Lan'er. But now that he heard Yang Lan'er's words, his eyes immediately lit up. He said with a smile, "Lan'er, no matter what it is, senior brother will help you solve it. Then Lan'er will thank senior brother Zhao here." Yang Lan'er bowed to Zhao Fanxian. Then she said, "The matter is like this. In our star field, there's an Emperor Realm expert called Ling Shuzi. This person has taken a fancy to a treasure of our Yang family, and wants to exterminate our Yang family. In another 2 days, one of Ling Shuzi's subordinates will arrive. When that time comes, our Yang family will be finished." Ling Shuzi? An Emperor Realm expert? Zhao Fanxian immediately sneered. This Ling Shuzi is really gutsy. "Lan'er, don't worry, leave this matter to me." Hearing that, Yang Lan'er was overjoyed. And Yang Tianwen and the others were even more ecstatic. These people were even more enthusiastic about Zhao Fanxian. The Yang family held an extremely lively banquet to entertain Zhao Fanxian. During this period, Yang Lan'er even personally walked to the center of the hall and danced. She was a beautiful woman to begin with. Now that she danced, she was so beautiful that it was suffocating. Yang Lan'er's beauty was a soul-stirring kind of beauty. It directly attacked one's heart. Not to mention this woman's personality, just her appearance, figure, and temperament. She was definitely a rare beauty. Even Zhao Fanxian was mesmerized by her, and he even forgot to drink the wine in his hand. Zhao Fanxian was now praying that Ling Shuzi's subordinates would quickly come to the Yang family to cause trouble. At that time, he would be able to get rid of the other party and display his cultivation in front of Yang Lan'er. When the Yang family's crisis was resolved, Yang Lan'er would definitely throw herself at him. Thinking of this. Chapter 3449. Lin Feng was also admiring Yang Lan'er's graceful and moving dance. Of course, this was purely an admiring gaze. He had no other thoughts about Yang Lan'er. After Yang Lan'er's graceful dance ended, Zhao Fanxian clapped his hands and praised. "Perhaps even the fairies of the Moon Palace can't compare to Lan'er. Thank you for your praise, senior brother Zhao." Yang Lan'er bowed slightly to Zhao Fanxian. "These are all words from the bottom of my heart," Zhao Fanxian said with a smile. At this moment, Zhao Fanxian glanced at Lin Feng. He had noticed Lin Feng earlier. Zhao Fanxian had a strange feeling. He had a feeling that Lin Feng was not a simple person. Although Lin Feng's realm did not seem high, Zhao Fanxian felt that Lin Feng was the most dangerous person among all of them. Zhao Fanxian was extremely talented. He had a monstrous perception of the outside world. Moreover, Zhao Fanxian's perception of the outside world was very accurate. He had always been extremely confident in his perception. Therefore, Zhao Fanxian was very interested in Lin Feng's identity. He said with a smile, "Brother, how should I address you?" Everyone looked at Zhao Fanxian. He actually took the initiative to ask about Lin Feng's identity. They could not help but feel very surprised. However, no one thought too much about it. Yang Qian said sarcastically, "He's a rogue cultivator my cousin met outside." Lin Feng ignored Yang Qian. Instead, he said his name. "Lin Feng? A rogue cultivator?" Zhao Fanxian could not help but mutter to himself. He tried hard to search for someone like Lin Feng in his mind. However, he did not have any impression of him. "Since we have nothing to do, why don't we spar?" Zhao Fanxian could not help but suggest. Lin Feng was slightly surprised. He did not know why Zhao Fanxian would want to spar with him. However, Lin Feng had no intention of sparring with Zhao Fanxian. Because Lin Feng was not interested in this kind of sparring. Lin Feng had experienced it before. Most of the time, it was actual combat. A battle of life and death. Everyone in the living room couldn't help but show a puzzled expression. He didn't know why Zhao Fanxian would ask Lin Feng to spar. Zhao Fanxian was such a powerful figure. Wouldn't he be able to crush Lin Feng to death with a single move? "My apologies. Not interested," Lin Feng said. Yang Qian said unhappily. "It's your fortune that Brother Zhao wants to spar with you. How dare you refuse?" "So what if I refuse?" "I'm not interested in this kind of spar," Lin Feng said. Yang Tianwen, Yang Qian, Yang Hai, Yang Jiang, Yang Lan'er, and the others all looked at Lin Feng with disdain. In their opinion, it wasn't that Lin Feng wasn't interested. It was more like they didn't dare to make a move. Because Lin Feng knew his own capabilities. How could he dare to fight with Zhao Fanxian? Lin Feng only smiled faintly at the ridicule of the Yang family. He didn't take it to heart at all. Zhao Fanxian said, "It's just a spar. Don't overdo it." "Brother Lin, don't you dare?" Zhao Fanxian wanted to provoke Lin Feng into making a move. Lin Feng still shook his head. All experts had their own dignity. Originally, Zhao Fanxian thought that Lin Feng was hiding his strength, so he wanted to test Lin Feng's depth. But he provoked Lin Feng in that way. Lin Feng was still indifferent and unwilling to accept the challenge. If Lin Feng was really a powerful cultivator, how could he endure such provocation? But now, Lin Feng didn't dare to accept the challenge. This proved that his previous guess was wrong. Thinking of this, the corner of Zhao Fanxian's mouth curled up into a sneer. Zhao Fanxian was a very arrogant person. If Lin Feng was on the same level as him, he might take him seriously. He was also happy to make friends with Lin Feng. But after determining that Lin Feng's cultivation wasn't strong, Zhao Fanxian looked at Lin Feng with a trace of contempt. Moreover, Lin Feng was still a human cultivator. Many cultivators of the human race looked down on the declining human race. Zhao Fanxian was the same. "If Brother Zhao wants to spar, I can be Brother Zhao's sparring partner. There's no need to spar with a cultivator who hasn't even entered the Emperor realm. That would be a disgrace to Brother Zhao's status," Yang Qian said. His words revealed his ridicule and contempt for Lin Feng. "Cousin! Don't go too far," Yang Kun said with an ugly expression. Lin Feng was his savior, so he would naturally protect Lin Feng. And humiliating Lin Feng now was no different from humiliating him. "Cousin, don't mind it. I was just saying it casually. I didn't mean anything else," Yang Qian said. He still had to pay a little attention to Yang Kun. Among the direct descendants of the Yang family, Yang Kun's talent made Yang Qian very jealous. Of course, Yang Qian wouldn't directly show his jealousy of Yang Kun on his face. After all, they were from the same family. If he directly showed his emotions on his face, then it would be a falling out. How would they get along in the future? Yang Kun looked at Lin Feng, wanting to express his apology. Lin Feng patted Yang Kun's shoulder and smiled slightly, indicating that he didn't take what had just happened to heart. Yang Kun couldn't help but admire Lin Feng. Lin Feng's heart was broad, ordinary people couldn't compare with him. And Yang Kun had a special feeling that Lin Feng was not simple, to be able to control such a powerful ancient starship. How could Lin Feng be as simple as he appeared to be on the surface? The banquet ended. Lin Feng returned to his residence. In the blink of an eye, 2 days had passed. On this day, it was the day that Ling Xuzi's subordinate was going to come again. Boom! A terrifying aura spread out. Demonic fog rolled. Ling Xuzi's subordinate came again. Yang Tianwen! Is the thing ready? Ling Xuzi's subordinate sneered. Such a powerhouse would be an overlord in the starry sky world. Now that he had come, he could suppress the world. I heard that the Yang family invited Zhao Fanxian. I wonder if Zhao Fanxian will risk offending Ling Xuzi to help the Yang family? Although that cultivator in the demonic fog hasn't shown himself, he's definitely a terrifying figure. I'm afraid Zhao Fanxian won't be a match for him, right? There were many cultivators around to watch the show. They surrounded the place so tightly that not even a drop of water could trickle through. Many people were discussing. The arrival of the cultivator in the demonic fog attracted the attention of too many people. The Yang family. Today, would they be destroyed? This was the answer that everyone wanted to know. Don't go too far. Our Yang family is not to be trifled with. At most, we'll fight to the death. Now that the Yang family had Zhao Fanxian's support, Yang Tianwen was very confident. He couldn't help but sneer. Fine. Since you're so stubborn, I'll have to destroy your Yang family today. Chapter 3450. The palm strike from the being in the demonic mist was so powerful that it sent chills down one's spine. This being's cultivation was at least at the 3rd or 4th heaven of the Sovereign Emperor realm. Therefore, his strength far surpassed Yang Tianwen's. His palm strike came down. Yang Tianwen could not block this terrifying attack at all. At this moment, Zhao Fanxian, who had been silent all this while, snorted coldly. He took a step forward. Then, he punched out. Bang! Along with the sound of a violent collision, there was a loud sound. Zhao Fanxian and the being in the demonic mist collided fiercely. Both sides were evenly matched. Who are you? The being in the demonic mist asked coldly. A pair of cold and terrifying eyes looked at Zhao Fanxian coldly. Northern Sacred Starfield. Zhao Fanxian. Zhao Fanxian's expression was indifferent and incomparably arrogant. He had an arrogant expression on his face. Although the being in the demonic mist was very powerful, Zhao Fanxian did not think much of him. Zhao Fanxian came from a big faction. The cultivator in the demonic mist was just a subordinate. There was a huge gap in status between the two sides. As a result, Zhao Fanxian was even more disdainful of the cultivator in the demonic mist. Of course, Zhao Fanxian was indeed a very strong person. Although he was arrogant, he had the right to be arrogant. I've heard of the Northern Sacred Starfield's Zhao clan, but this is the 9 Mysteries Starfield. The Northern Sacred Starfield's Zhao clan has no right to interfere here, right? The being in the demonic mist sneered. Then, he could not help but mock. As for the direct descendants of the Northern Sacred Starfield's Zhao clan, I've also heard of them. I don't think there's anyone called Zhao Fanxian, right? Since you say you're from the Northern Sacred Starfield, you must be a disciple of the Side family. A mere disciple of the Side family doesn't have the right to be arrogant, right? Of course, some people might use the Northern Sacred Starfield's Zhao clan's name to intimidate others. I've seen many such people. You dare to insult me? Zhao Fanxian's face turned gloomy. The being in the demonic mist's words were simply heart-wrenching. Every word hit Zhao Fanxian's sore spot. This made Zhao Fanxian gnash her teeth in hatred. I'm just stating a fact. If you think that I'm insulting you, then it means that your mental fortitude is too weak. A cultivator with such a weak mental fortitude is destined to not go far on the path of cultivation. Perhaps it will be a temporary glory, but in the end, it will still fall like a meteor. The being in the demonic fog continued. Zhao Fanxian, on the other hand, soared into the sky. Powerful magic power surged out of his body. Zhao Fanxian was clearly enraged. He took the initiative to attack. These two are not simple, but Zhao Fanxian is still a little too young. Lin Feng couldn't help muttering to himself. Zhao Fanxian was very powerful. However, he was unable to withstand the provocation of the cultivator within the demonic fog. Although Zhao Fanxian was quite shrewd. However, the older, the wiser. The being in the demonic mist was clearly more experienced. Zhao Fanxian was enraged. His combat strength would definitely be affected to a certain extent. Of course, that was if Zhao Fanxian's battle prowess could greatly suppress the existence within the demonic mist. Even though his combat power was affected due to his anger, this influence was not enough to change the battle situation. However, if Zhao Fanxian's battle prowess was on par with the existence within the demonic mist, this influence, perhaps it would have the effect of changing the battle situation. At that time, Zhao Fanxian would very likely be defeated by the existence within the demonic mist. Of course, whether Zhao Fanxian won or lost, it had nothing to do with Lin Feng. The reason why Lin Feng stayed to watch the show, the biggest reason was that he was very interested in the Yang family's treasure. That treasure was obviously extremely extraordinary. What exactly was it? If there was a chance, Lin Feng didn't mind taking that treasure for himself. At this time, Zhao Fanxian and the existence within the demonic mist were engaged in a fierce battle. The two sides exchanged more than 10 attacks in a row. They had been evenly matched all the time. Zhao Fanxian was indeed powerful. And he was indeed talented. The battle prowess of the cultivator within the demonic mist was also extremely terrifying. It was shocking. After fighting for so many rounds in a row, it had been difficult for both sides to win against each other. It was at this moment that Zhao Fanxian unleashed an incredible ultimate skill. Zhao Fanxian's body suddenly became bright and dazzling. His body seemed to have transformed into the eternal holy light. Then, he quickly rushed towards the terrifying existence within the demonic mist. Strong! He was really too strong. The aura emitted from Zhao Fanxian's body made people unable to help but feel a sense of extreme horror. The existence within the demonic mist was not to be outdone. The demonic mist rolled, and the shadow of a demonic bell condensed in the demonic mist. That demonic bell was incomparably terrifying. There was a slight tremor in the void, as if it could collapse 100,000 starry sky worlds. The eternal holy light that Zhao Fanxian transformed into collided with the demonic bell. Then, something shocking happened. The eternal holy light that Zhao Fanxian transformed into actually tore the demonic bell apart. Then, the eternal holy light that Zhao Fanxian transformed into slashed towards the existence within the demonic mist. Zhao Fanxian seemed to have become the only thing between heaven and earth, the eternal between heaven and earth. This divine ability was truly peerless and terrifying. The existence within the demonic mist obviously didn't expect Zhao Fanxian's attack to be so powerful that it directly broke his divine ability. Because the expression of the existence within the demonic mist changed greatly. His reaction was extremely fast. When the eternal holy light that Zhao Fanxian transformed into slashed towards him, he hurriedly condensed dense defensive runes to protect himself. Bang! The eternal holy light that Zhao Fanxian transformed into bombarded the body of the existence within the demonic mist. Because of the protection of the defensive runes, that existence's physical body was not torn apart. However, the powerful impact still caused great damage to the living beings in the demonic fog. The sound of bones cracking could not help but be heard. It was unknown how many bones in the body of the existence within the demonic mist were broken. His entire body was blasted away, vomiting large mouthfuls of blood in midair. Zhao Fanxian rushed forward, wanting to kill the cultivator in the demonic mist. However, the cultivator in the demonic mist instantly crushed a jade talisman. That was a precious space-time teleportation jade talisman. After the jade talisman was crushed, the space-time power blessed the existence within the demonic mist. Swish! With a flash of light, the existence within the demonic mist instantly disappeared without a trace with the space-time teleportation jade talisman. And this battle ended with Zhao Fanxian's victory. Zhao Fanxian stood in the void, dressed in snow-white clothes, his gaze arrogant and cold. Chapter 3451. This Zhao Fanxian's cultivation is really powerful. Even the existence in the demonic mist is not his match. I really wonder what realm this person is at. Yeah, Zhao Fanxian is really terrifying. His future is simply limitless. Many people could not help but whisper to each other, Zhao Fanxian was indeed too extraordinary. It caused many people to exclaim in surprise. At this moment, even Yang Lan'er's gaze towards Zhao Fanxian changed. Yang Lan'er was extremely arrogant, and her standards were extremely high. She would not easily fall in love with a man, unless that man was extremely outstanding. And now, it seemed that Zhao Fanxian was such a man. He was handsome, powerful, and had an extraordinary background. Other than Zhao Fanxian's reputation in terms of women, he was really a near-perfect man. If she were to take Zhao Fanxian in the future, with her beauty and means, would she be afraid that she could not subdue Zhao Fanxian? Yang Lan'er could not help but think in her heart, she was extremely confident in herself. Lin Feng could not help but shake his head slightly. This Zhao Fanxian might have defeated the cultivator in the demonic mist. However, that cultivator was only a subordinate of Ling Shuzi. Ling Shuzi would definitely be furious. Once a powerful expert like Ling Shuzi was angry, it was definitely not something that Zhao Fanxian could contend with. Since Ling Shuzi was determined to get that supreme treasure, then Ling Shuzi would not let it go. If Ling Shuzi came, no one could save the Yang family. Zhao Fanxian could not save them either. As for Zhao Fanxian's extraordinary identity, it was useless here. This was the Great Destruction world, not the Northern Sacred Star Field. Zhao Fanxian, on the other hand, flew down. Everyone from the Yang family hurriedly surrounded Zhao Fanxian. Nephew is really resourceful. With your talent, you will definitely become an Emperor Lord level powerhouse in the future. You will be invincible in the world. Yang Tianwen could not help but praise. These flattering words were said so naturally by Yang Tianwen. Lin Feng had already seen Yang Tianwen's skin that was as thick as a city wall. Therefore, Lin Feng did not find it strange when he heard Yang Tianwen's words. Thank you for your compliment, uncle. My goal is to ascend to immortality. Being an imperial emperor is just a stepping stone, Zhao Fanxian proudly declared. Yang Lan'er smiled and said, Lan'er believes that senior brother Zhao can definitely do it in the future. Thank you for your kind words, Lan'er. Zhao Fanxian smiled. A group of people welcomed Zhao Fanxian into the Yang family mansion. The entire Dark Nether City was talking about the battle between Zhao Fanxian and the cultivator in the demonic fog. Zhao Fanxian became famous in a single battle. Countless people couldn't help but feel a sense of shock. Many female cultivators found it even harder to forget Zhao Fanxian after seeing him. They would talk about him every day, and some even suffered from lovesickness. Yang family. Main hall. Yang Lan'er said. Senior brother Zhao, now that Ling Shuzi's subordinates have been beaten back, I'm worried that Ling Shuzi will personally come. If he comes, then the situation will be extremely bad. Hearing this, the faces of the Yang family members became solemn. Indeed, if an expert like Ling Shuzi personally came, it would definitely be a disaster for the Yang family. Unless Zhao Fanxian could resist Ling Shuzi. But that was not realistic. Therefore, The Yang family hoped that Zhao Fanxian could invite the experts of the Zhao family behind Zhao Fanxian to help them resolve the crisis. Zhao Fanxian said, Ling Shuzi is indeed very powerful, but I don't take him seriously. I have a way to deal with him. What? Senior brother Zhao has a way to deal with an expert like Ling Shuzi? Yan Laner immediately cried out in surprise, unable to believe her ears. As for the group of people from the Yang family, they all looked at Zhao Fanxian with deep shock. Of course, just wait and see, Zhao Fanxian said confidently. When the time comes, I'll have to trouble senior brother Zhao to take action. Yang Laner looked at Zhao Fanxian with a hint of admiration. Zhao Fanxian smiled. Everything was under his control. Perhaps soon, he was about to embrace the beauty. There was no woman that he, Zhao Fanxian, couldn't get. 10 days later, a cultivator wearing a Taoist robe arrived at the Great Destruction World. The cultivator in the Taoist robe had a thin figure and a gaze that was as sharp as a knife. This cultivator's body emitted a cold and terrifying aura, which was the complete opposite of the righteous aura of the Taoist sect. Although this cultivator was wearing a Taoist robe, he shouldn't be a real Taoist. And this cultivator was none other than the famous Ling Shuzi. Ling Shuzi arrived with an icy gaze. Someone had actually attacked for the Yang family, and injured his subordinates. As the saying goes, if you want to beat a dog, you have to see who its owner is. Since the other party dared to attack, it meant that they didn't give him any face at all. Ling Shuzi was a vicious and merciless person with a vicious mind. Moreover, this person was vengeful. All these years, those who offended Ling Shuzi didn't have a good ending. Not long after, Ling Shuzi arrived at Xianming City. Yan family. They were still waiting for Ling Shuzi's arrival. However, Zhao Fanxian was here. Yan family. He wasn't afraid of Ling Shuzi. Who dares to go against this poor Taoist? Come out and accept your death. Ling Shuzi walked towards the Yang family. Ling Shuzi! It's Ling Shuzi! He's going to attack personally. Ling Shuzi is a cultivator who's extremely close to the sovereign realm. Now that Ling Shuzi is here, that Zhao Fanxian won't be a match for Ling Shuzi at all. Just wait and see, the Yang family will definitely be destroyed this time. That's right, Ling Shuzi is too powerful. No one can fight against him. Although that Zhao Fanxian is strong, compared to Ling Shuzi, he's too far away. Many people couldn't help but discuss. They didn't think highly of Zhao Fanxian. Zhao Fanxian and a group of people from the Yang family rushed out. Lin Feng was still watching the conflict with the attitude of watching a show. Humph! Your Excellency, your words are too harsh. Zhao Fanxian looked coldly at Ling Shuzi. Ignorant child, who do you think you are? How dare you interfere in this poor Taoist's matter? I think you're tired of living. Ling Shuzi's eyes flashed with killing intent. Ling Shuzi's hands were stained with the blood of countless cultivators. He was a great devil that everyone feared. Now Ling Shuzi wanted to kill Zhao Fanxian. This person would definitely not let Zhao Fanxian go. Ling Shuzi, I'm from the Zhao family, the master of Northern Sacred Star region. If you know what's good for you, leave now. If you leave now, I'll pretend that nothing happened today. Zhao Fanxian put his hands behind his back and looked at Ling Shuzi indifferently. Now, he had brought out the force behind him, the Zhao family. Chapter 3452. Lin Feng could not help but shake his head slightly. The Zhao family was indeed powerful, but it was not enough to make an expert like Ling Shuzi fear them. They were not from the same starfield at all. Generally, there were very few conflicts between forces from different starfields. Once there was a conflict, it might be a war between starfields. The Zhao family was actually able to stand for so many years without falling. Firstly, it had to do with the Zhao family's powerful strength. Secondly, it had to do with the Zhao family's ability to deal with conflicts between starfields. The Zhao family was very high profile, but that was within the Northern Sacred Starfield, which was their own territory. They could be as high profile as they wanted. After all, the entire starfield was ruled by the Zhao family. And now, Zhao Fanxian had not changed his arrogant attitude even after leaving the northern sacred starfield. Ling Shizi sneered and said, "What a reckless thing! A mere disciple of the Zhao family, a force from the northern sacred starfield, actually came to the great world of destruction to show off. What a joke!" Rumble. As soon as he finished speaking, Ling Shizi attacked and blasted a palm towards Zhao Fanxian. A terrifying aura spread between heaven and earth. The power caused by an Emperor Realm expert's attack was truly peerless and terrifying. It was shocking to the extreme. As expected of an Emperor Ancestor Realm expert. The pressure emitted from Ling Shizi's body. It was already unbearable for many cultivators who were watching the show. And that pressure. It was not targeted at the surrounding cultivators who were watching the show. But even so, many of the spectating cultivators also spat out mouthfuls of blood due to the terrifying pressure. Their faces were pale. Retreat! Many people cried out in horror. Many cultivators were retreating quickly, not daring to get close to the center of the battle. Because it was too dangerous. If they were careless, he might die and his Tao would vanish. Facing Ling Shizi's powerful attack, Zhao Fanxian's face revealed an incomparably cold smile. "Today, I'll let you have a taste of my power!" Zhao Fanxian shouted coldly. Then, a large amount of golden light surged out from his body. And those golden light rays, they surrounded Zhao Fanxian's body. Under the support of the golden light, Zhao Fanxian seemed to have completely changed into a different person. His cultivation level soared. Bang! With a violent clash, Zhao Fanxian and Ling Shizi's attacks collided. Zhao Fanxian had actually neutralized Ling Shizi's attack. It was truly inconceivable. Even Lin Feng couldn't help but be shocked. How did Zhao Fanxian do it? Could it be that nephew Zhao is the reincarnation of an immortal? He actually blocked Ling Shizi's attack? Yang Tianwen exclaimed. Geniuses, truly geniuses! Yang Qian and the other sighed, looking at Zhao Fanxian and the others with envious expressions. Yang Lan's beautiful eyes were full of splendor. Isn't Zhao Fanxian a little too terrifying? How powerful! He is still so young, yet he is already able to contend against Ling Shizi. Just how strong will he be in the future? Yeah, he's really too strong. This Zhao Fanxian will definitely become the supreme overlord of the starry sky world in the future. Many spectators couldn't help but say. They were deeply intimidated by Zhao Fanxian's terrifying battle prowess. Hearing the exclamations of the surrounding people, Zhao Fanxian's face couldn't help but reveal a proud expression. He liked the feeling of being looked up to. You must have used the Zhao clan's invulnerable glass golden body, right? I've been to the northern sacred starfield in the past, so I have some understanding of the Zhao clan's invulnerable glass golden body. Although your techniques are extraordinary now, this isn't your true strength. Ling Shizi couldn't help but sneer. Zhao Fanxian said coldly. You're wrong. This is my true strength. Don't forget that treasures, clones, and other techniques are all a part of one's strength. The world of cultivators is a world that only cares about the results, not the process. Ling Shizi said. You're right. However, do you think that a mere invulnerable glass golden body is enough to contend against me? That's just wishful thinking. I haven't even used 1/10 of my battle prowess. How arrogant. When I defeat you later, I'd like to see if you still dare to say such words. Zhao Fanxian couldn't help but sneer. Next, Zhao Fanxian took the initiative to attack Ling Shizi. Zhao Fanxian opened his hand, which was surrounded by an endless amount of golden light. Zhao Fanxian attacked Ling Shizi with his palm. One could vaguely see that the golden light had condensed into countless runes. No one knew what kind of divine ability Zhao Fanxian was using. However, it was definitely an unparalleled divine ability. Ling Shizi sneered and attacked as well. He attacked with a sky-flipping palm towards Zhao Fanxian. The sky-flipping palm was extremely powerful. It was as if it could turn the world upside down. Bam! Accompanied by a violent collision, Zhao Fanxian and Ling Shizi collided again. This time, Zhao Fanxian was sent flying by Ling Xuzi. Barf! He spat out mouthfuls of blood in midair. Crack, crack. The sound of bones cracking could be heard. Zhao Fanxian was severely injured and the golden light surrounding his body dissipated. Zhao Fanxian, on the other hand, fell straight to the ground. His face was as pale as a sheet. The attack just now had caused Zhao Fanxian serious damage. Zhao Fanxian no longer had the strength to fight. Oh no! The expressions of the Yang family members changed drastically. Zhao Fanxian was defeated. Then, wouldn't the Yang family be massacred? Everyone's heart. It instantly sank to the bottom of the valley. Fear. Despair. It shrouded everyone's heart. Zhao Fanxian has been defeated. The Yang family is finished this time. Many cultivators who were watching the battle exclaimed. Everyone knew that. This time, the Yang family was definitely finished. No one could save the Yang family anymore. The Yang family. They should be killed. However, Yang Lan'er doesn't have to die. It would be a pity to kill such a beauty. She can become my cultivation cauldron. Ling Xuzi couldn't help but laugh sinisterly. Any cauldron would definitely end up in an extremely miserable state. Yang Lan'er naturally knew what would happen if she became a cauldron. However, now, the Yang family had no way to resist Ling Xuzi. Because Ling Xuzi's strength was simply too powerful. He was so powerful that it made people feel despair. Beauty, come on. Ling Xuzi laughed loudly and reached out to grab Yang Lan'er. How dare you! Yang Tianwen couldn't help but roar and pounce towards Ling Xuzi. Although Yang Tianwen was a little snobbish, he gave his all to his daughter. However, he was willing to give his all to his daughter. Perhaps this was the fearless spirit of a father. Therefore, although he knew that he was no match for Ling Xuzi, Yang Tianwen continued to charge towards Ling Xuzi without fear of death. Ling Xuzi's gaze turned cold and the big hand that was originally grabbing Yang Lan'er changed to slapping towards Yang Tianwen. Chapter 3453. Father! Seeing that Yang Tianwen was seriously injured, Yang Lan'er immediately pounced on him. Beauty who can't escape! Ling Xuzi sneered and continued to grab Yang Lan'er with his big hand. Many people were watching this scene from afar, but no one made a move. No one would offend an expert like Ling Xuzi for the Yang family. Even the experts whose cultivation could suppress Ling Xuzi were definitely not willing to offend an existence like Ling Xuzi. No! Yang Lan'er screamed in horror. She didn't want to become Ling Xuzi's furnace. That was definitely an extremely sad thing. When the time came, she would rather die. However, Yang Lan'er discovered that at this time, she had no one to respond to her cries. No one could save her. Yang Lan'er was in despair. This despair. It made her feel extremely sad. Such a beauty is actually going to become Ling Xuzi's furnace. What a pity! Many people shook their heads and sighed. Yang Lan'er was a peerless beauty. A woman who was so beautiful that it took one's breath away. Now. But she had to face such a tragedy. Many people couldn't bear to see it. However, no one dared to make a move for Yang Lan'er. They couldn't afford to offend an expert like Ling Xuzi. Even if they wanted to be a hero to save the beauty, they had to weigh their own strength first. Just as Yang Lan'er was about to be caught by Ling Xuzi, a faint laughter suddenly sounded. Wearing a Taoist robe but doing such a dirty thing. I wonder if those real Taoist masters will come to deal with you, a fake Taoist master? I think you better leave with your tail between your legs. If a Taoist master really comes, you won't be able to leave even if you want to. When this voice came out, everyone was stunned on the spot. Obviously, the person who spoke was mocking Ling Xuzi, who was wearing a Taoist robe. Who? How could he be so daring? He actually dared to mock Ling Xuzi. It was really unimaginable. Did he not want to live anymore? There was someone who thought that their life was too long? Even Ling Xuzi stopped in his tracks. Ling Xuzi's eyes were extremely gloomy. Someone actually dared to mock him in front of so many people. Wasn't this a slap to his face? How could Ling Xuzi tolerate it? Everyone turned to look at the person who spoke. Everyone saw. The person who spoke. It was an extremely young human cultivator. Among those present, no one recognized Lin Feng. Who is this kid? How dare you mock Ling Xuzi? He seems to be just a quasi-emperor cultivator. You are courting death. Courting death. This brat is simply courting death. Just wait and see. This brat is dead for sure. Ling Xuzi will not let this brat go. This kid will die in an incomparably miserable way. Many people couldn't help but discuss. In their eyes, Lin Feng was no different from a dead man. It's him. Yang Lana looked at Lin Feng in surprise. She never thought that Lin Feng would stand up for her at this time. Although he had looked down on Lin Feng before. But now, Yang Laner's view of Lin Feng had changed a little. Lin Feng's realm was not high. But at the very least, Lin Feng was still a man. He would stand up for her. At this moment, Yang Laner still thought that Lin Feng admired her. That was why he stood up for her. But in reality, Lin Feng did not do it because of Yang Laner. It was because the Yang family's treasure. He decided to help the Yang family, but the prerequisite was that the Yang family had to give him the treasure. If the Yang family did not know how to appreciate favors, then Lin Feng could not be bothered with their life and death. At most, he would help Yang Kuan and Yang Kuan's parents. As for the rest of the Yang family, for example, what did the life and death of Yang Tianwen, Yang Laner, Yang Qian have to do with Lin Feng? Lin Feng was not a savior. Why should he save them? Brat! Are you trying to be a hero saving a beauty? But unfortunately, with your little strength, you are not qualified to be a hero saving a beauty. The corner of Ling Xuzi's mouth curled up into a sinister expression, and he said with a sinister smile, "But don't worry, this penniless priest will not kill you directly later, but will torture you until you are better off dead. This penniless priest will then kill you. This is the miserable outcome of provoking this penniless priest." As the sound of his voice faded, Ling Xuzi directly slapped towards Lin Feng with his palm. A large energy handprint immediately condensed and charged towards Lin Feng. Although Lin Feng's cultivation had increased explosively, he was still a little lacking when it came to dealing with Ling Xuzi. However, Lin Feng was not afraid of Ling Xuzi. Because, even though his cultivation might not be able to defeat Ling Xuzi, but Lin Feng had many tricks up his sleeves. He had many powerful magic treasures, and the help of magic iron. In addition, it was time for the great desolate demon refining insects to reveal their fangs. True incantation of the army. Stone sword birth. Lin Feng activated the true incantation of the army. All of a sudden, 3 stone swords flew out. Under the control of the true incantation of the army, the 3 stone swords unleashed an extremely terrifying power and instantly charged towards Ling Xuzi. The large energy handprint that Ling Xuzi condensed. It was instantly broken by Lin Feng's 3 stone swords. Then, the 3 stone swords quickly arrived in front of Ling Xuzi and slashed towards him. Ling Xuzi's expression could not help but change slightly. His reaction was fast enough. He flicked the sword 3 times in a row across the void. Clang! 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 The 3 stone swords were actually hit by an invisible force and changed their direction. However, at this moment, behind Ling Xuzi, the void split open. Magic iron flew out and smashed towards Ling Xuzi. Ling Xuzi was indeed an expert of the high-level Emperor sect. He was actually able to react at such a close distance. Ling Xuzi turned around and punched the magic iron. Clang! The magic iron collided with Ling Xuzi. Ling Xuzi underestimated the magic iron's strength. The magic iron directly smashed Ling Xuzi's fist until it was deformed. Blood immediately flowed out. Come out, Chaos Demon Refining Bugs! Lin Feng waved his hand. All of a sudden, the Chaos Demon Refining Bugs covered the sky and pounced towards Ling Xuzi. Ling Xuzi was surrounded by a huge group of Chaos Fiend Refining Bugs. Ling Xuzi attacked in a frenzy, trying to destroy the Chaos Demon Refining Bugs. However, the chaos demon refining bugs were too powerful. Although some of the desolate demon refining insects were killed by Ling Xuzi, most of them were still in good condition. Moreover, many of them bit off a piece of Ling Xuzi's flesh. It was extremely ferocious. In addition, Emotai was continuously attacking Ling Xuzi from the side. All of a sudden, Ling Xuzi was trapped between heaven and earth. I am the Supreme. Reincarnation is immortal. I have eternal life. At this moment, Lin Feng stepped out. At that moment, a terrifying aura was emitted from Lin Feng's body. It was the Supreme Aura. The Supreme Aura. Thump! 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 Countless cultivators who were watching the show could not withstand the terrifying aura from Lin Feng's body. They immediately knelt on the ground. Oh my God, just how powerful is he? Chapter 3454. Originally, everyone thought that Lin Feng was provoking Ling Xuzi. It was an act of seeking death, but now they knew that they were gravely mistaken. Lin Feng's strength shocked everyone's hearts. Yang Lan'er looked at Lin Feng without blinking. Her breathing seemed to have become a little rapid. Wasn't this the man she wanted to see even in her dreams? Boom! Finally, Lin Feng unleashed an unparalleled punch. He unleashed the Supreme Reincarnation Fist, a powerful ability. Supreme Reincarnation Fist. It was Lin Feng's trump card. When the Supreme Reincarnation Fist was activated, all the abilities that Lin Feng cultivated were activated together. 2,400 types of 3,000 Great Tao. All kinds of powerful immortal techniques, emperor techniques, and so on. These super abilities were continuously enhancing the might of the Supreme Reincarnation Fist. Strong. Too powerful. The power of this punch was unimaginably powerful. Of course, such a powerful ability also consumed a lot of his mana. Lin Feng couldn't hold on for too long. However, Lin Feng felt that, even if he could only hold on for a short period of time, it was already enough. Supreme Reincarnation Fist. Enough. At this moment, it destroyed Ling Xuzi's defense. When Lin Feng's invincible punch came, Ling Xuzi's expression suddenly changed. He couldn't believe it. A quasi-emperor realm cultivator could actually unleash such a terrifying battle strength. In Ling Xuzi's opinion, Lin Feng must have borrowed the power of some magic treasure to be able to unleash such a powerful attack. With just Lin Feng alone, absolutely impossible. But this time, Ling Xuzi guessed wrong. This was Lin Feng's peak battle strength. This was Lin Feng's own Tao. It was also Lin Feng's most powerful ability. Ling Xuzi was entangled by the primordial demon refining insects and demon iron. Therefore, it was very difficult for him to deal with Lin Feng with all his strength. However, Ling Xuzi was indeed a terrifying person. His reaction was extremely fast. Although he was entangled by the prehistoric demon refining insect and the devil iron, he was still able to escape. When Lin Feng's fist moved towards him, Lin Feng's expression changed. Ling Xuzi still threw out a punch to counter Lin Feng's attack. Ling Xuzi's fist was surrounded by an endless amount of destructive power. It was a destructive force. It was as if it could collapse the universe. This mystique was called destruction of all worlds. It was the sublimation of the great art of destruction, one of the 3,000 great Taos. It was an ultimate technique that he had obtained. Bang! Lin Feng's Supreme Reincarnation Fist collided with Ling Xuzi's World Extermination. Under everyone's shocked gazes, Lin Feng's Supreme Reincarnation Fist had broken Ling Xuzi's world-destroying divine ability. Ling Xuzi was sent flying by Lin Feng. Poof! What was unbelievable was that Ling Xuzi, Lin Feng's punch had actually caused him to vomit blood. Shocking. His expression changed. It was unbelievable. Everyone's expression was as if they had seen a ghost. A powerhouse who might soon enter the sovereign realm had actually been beaten to the point of vomiting blood by a young human cultivator. It was too terrifying. It was too unbelievable. He's really strong. This person is too heaven-defying. I've never seen such a heaven-defying character. Yeah, I've never seen such a heaven-defying character either. If this person continues to grow, how terrifying will he become? It's simply unimaginable. The surrounding cultivators exclaimed one after another. Everyone's heart was deeply shaken. At this moment, Lin Feng continued to attack Ling Shuzi. He wanted to get rid of Ling Shuzi. However, Ling Shuzi's body turned into a ball of demonic light. He quickly fled into the distance. Ling Shuzi. He was so scared by Lin Feng that he fled. Lin Feng frowned. He did not chase after him. Lin Feng naturally understood the principle of not chasing after a cornered enemy. Moreover, after performing the Supreme Reincarnation Fist, Lin Feng felt that his dermic powers were severely depleted. At this stage, only the Supreme Reincarnation Fist could hurt an expert like Ling Shuzi. The other divine abilities could not hurt an expert at Ling Shuzi's level at all. After Ling Shuzi escaped, Lin Feng descended from the sky. He once again regained his harmless expression. If they had not seen the previous battle, no one would have believed that Lin Feng was actually so terrifying as a young cultivator. Lin Feng waved his hand. In an instant, 3 stone swords, demonic iron, all of them flew back into the mountain river ring. Thank you, Lin Gongzi, for your help. Yang Lan hurriedly thanked Lin Feng. She looked at Lin Feng affectionately. Lin Feng directly ignored Yang Lan. He looked at Yang Tianwen, who was being helped up by Yang Qian and the others. Now Yang Qian did not dare to face Lin Feng because he had mocked Lin Feng before. Now that he knew how terrifying Lin Feng was, he was so scared that his entire body was trembling. Thank you, Lin Gongzi, for helping our Yang family resolve this crisis. If we don't dare to forget your kindness, we will definitely be rewarded, Yang Tianwen said. Lin Feng said indifferently, I want the thing that Ling Shuzi wants. Hearing that, Yang Tianwen's expression suddenly changed. Lin Feng said indifferently, If you are a smart person, you should know that you should hand that thing over to me at this time. Although Lin Feng spoke with a very gentle expression. However, how could Yang Tianwen not know? An expert like Lin Feng. If he could not get what he wanted, he did not know what crazy things he would do. Not to mention, Yang Tianwen also knew. Since that thing had already been exposed, it was impossible to keep it. Lin Feng did not want it. There would also be other forces coming to ask for it. If those who came to ask for it were all like Ling Shuzi, then the Yang family would still be on the path to death. All right. That thing. I will hand it over to Lin Gongzi, Yang Tianwen said. Lin Feng nodded his head. Young master, please follow me, Yang Tianwen said. Lin Feng followed Yang Tianwen into a mysterious secret room deep within the Yang family residence. That thing. It was placed in the secret room. Lin Feng was also very curious about what that thing was. Young master! This is the treasure of our Yang family. Yang Tianwen took out a golden brocade. After seeing the golden brocade, Lin Feng could not help but be surprised. He did not expect the treasure of the Yang family. It was actually a golden brocade. Lin Feng held the golden brocade in his hand and looked at it. He realized that the golden brocade was filled with words, but those words were too ancient. Lin Feng did not recognize those words. What is written on it? Lin Feng asked. Yang Tianwen smiled bitterly. Our Yang family does not know either. What's so special about this brocade? Lin Feng asked curiously. He carefully studied the brocade. However, there were no clues. Lin Feng also did not know about this brocade. What could it be used for? Or did it hide some shocking secret? Rumor has it that this brocade is related to the Emperor Brush. Through this brocade, we can find the Emperor Brush, Yang Tianwen said. What? Could he use this piece of silk to find the legendary Emperor Brush? Chapter 3455. The Emperor Brush. Lin Feng had naturally heard of it before. The human emperor held the emperor brush and wrote down the great Tao and human ethics to enlighten the people. Words were the medium to spread ideas. And the emperor brush, starting from the first human emperor, it was passed down from generation to generation. The emperor brush inherited the spirit and will of the human emperors. Therefore, the emperor brush was important to the entire human race. It was extremely important. And most importantly, it was rumored that the emperor brush was the first treasure in the history of the human race to surpass an immortal artifact. This was because the emperor brush, it collected the will of the 9 human emperors. It finally completed the breakthrough. Therefore, the power of the emperor brush was simply unimaginable. A brush. It wrote down thousands of scrolls of mountains and rivers. A brush. It wrote down eternity. A brush. It wrote down the vicissitudes of life. A brush. It wrote down the immortality of human Tao. A brush. It wrote down the rise and fall of the human race. The emperor brush. One of the greatest treasures of the human race. Whoever could obtain the emperor brush was equivalent to obtaining the approval of the 9 human emperors of the human race. It was equivalent to obtaining the sacred power of the 9 human emperors of the human race. One could even obtain the legacy of the 9 human emperors. This was the extraordinary part of the emperor brush. It was the witness of human Tao. The writer of human Tao. It was the emperor brush. A treasure like the emperor brush had already transcended the meaning of a treasure. To be precise, the emperor brush. It represented the legacy of human Tao. If the emperor brush was found, perhaps, one day, Lin Feng would become the new human emperor of the human race recognized by the 9 human emperors. This was a supreme honor. Lin Feng had been waiting for this moment to come. He was also looking forward to being able to control the emperor brush. To be able to become the new human emperor of the human race. It had been too many years since the human race had produced a human emperor to lead the human race forward. This brocade has been in your hands for so many years. Have you not discovered the secret of the brocade? Lin Feng looked at Yang Tianwen and asked. Yang Tianwen smiled bitterly and said, "What is the secret of this brocade? It is indeed too difficult to understand." Lin Feng nodded. Naturally, not everyone was qualified to search for the emperor brush. Therefore, those who were not qualified to search for the emperor brush would not have the opportunity to understand the secret of the brocade even if they obtained it. This was also the reason why the Yang family had not been able to understand the secret of the brocade for so long. Good. I will accept this brocade. As for that Ling Suzi, you don't have to worry. When the time comes, the news of me obtaining your Yang family's treasure will definitely spread. At that time, if Ling Suzi really wants to make a move, he will look for me and not your Yang clan. After saying that, Zhang Wuji said, Lin Feng left the secret room. He planned to leave Xianming City and head to the Upper Tsung Mountains to cultivate the 8 and 9 arcane art. Lin Feng hoped that he could also find the Great Wish technique. If he could find the cultivation method of the Great Aspiration art, that would definitely be of great benefit to Lin Feng. Lin Gongzi, will we have a chance to meet again? Yang Laner was guarding outside. She couldn't help but exclaim when she saw Lin Feng. Yang Laner looked at Lin Feng affectionately. Lin Feng only needed to beckon with his finger. Yang Laner might offer herself to him. However, Lin Feng wasn't interested. He didn't like Yang Laner's personality. Lin Feng ignored Yang Laner and walked towards Yang Kun. He started chatting with Yang Kun. Everyone in the Yang family looked at Yang Kun enviously. They didn't know how Yang Kun got acquainted with an expert like Lin Feng. They wanted to be like Yang Kun. That way, they would be able to form a relationship with Lin Feng. After chatting with Yang Kun for a while, Lin Feng flew into the distance. Seeing Lin Feng leave, Yang Laner couldn't help but sigh. She had always been very confident in herself. However, Lin Feng didn't even have the mood to look at her. This made Yang Laner feel a great sense of defeat. When I first met him, I would have interacted more with him. Perhaps, I might have had a deeper relationship with him. But now, the more Yang Lana thought about it, the more depressed she felt. In the end, she sighed. Lin Feng quickly left Xianming City. A month later, he came to the famous Azure Mountain Range. This was a land of death. It was extremely dangerous and was surrounded by the Destruction Law. The power of the Destruction Law could destroy heaven and earth. It was so terrifying that it made people pale with fright. Apart from that, there were definitely terrifying creatures living in a land of death like the Azure Mountain Range. Those creatures had the strength to threaten the life of a great emperor. When Lin Feng arrived at the outer area of the Azure Mountain Range, he found many cultivators wandering around. Because of the Great Wish art, the Azure Mountain Range had become the focus of many cultivators after being immersed in it for countless years. A large number of cultivators gathered there. It was also because of the Great Wish art, which was a divine ability that had never existed since ancient times. To any cultivator or any power, this was an extremely important matter. The effect it could have was immeasurable. Many major forces were still discussing the plan to enter the Azure Mountain Range. At this moment, Lin Feng continued walking towards the Supreme Sang Mountain Range. Look, someone is walking toward the inner part of the Azure Mountain Range. Some cultivators noticed Lin Feng walking toward the inner part of the Azure Mountain Range, and couldn't help but exclaim, "It's a human cultivator! And it's a human cultivator from that group! Is that kid going to die?" Many people looked at Lin Feng. They saw Lin Feng walking step by step toward the inner part of the Azure Mountain Range. Many people were discussing. They all felt that Lin Feng was simply going to die. What was the difference between entering a dangerous place like the Azure Mountain Range and courting death? Just as everyone was discussing the matter, Lin Feng entered the Azure Mountain Range. The Azure Mountain Range was a continuous chain of mountains. Soon, a creature from the Forbidden Zone appeared. This creature of the Forbidden Zone was actually a zombie. This zombie demon was surrounded by a terrifying baleful yin qi. Its body was as hard as the most powerful Dharma treasure, and its nails were 1/2 meter long. The zombie's nails, this was the zombie's most powerful Dharma treasure. The zombie's sharp claws scratched toward Lin Feng. Lin Feng's expression was indifferent. He used the demon ancestor's sacred fist and punched the zombie. A powerful fist shadow condensed and blasted toward the zombie. The zombie was no match for Lin Feng's attack. It was sent flying by Lin Feng, but the zombie's physical body was strong and didn't suffer any injuries. Therefore, the zombie demon roared. It pounced toward Lin Feng again. Chapter 3456. Just nice to suppress you. Let me ask you about the situation here. Lin Feng looked indifferent. He used his palm as a sword. In the void. With a light stroke. Whoosh! A dazzling light surged out. Then, a dazzling sword chi flew out in an instant. Then, it quickly slashed toward the zombie. Clang! The sword energy collided with the zombie's claws, making a clanging sound. Lin Feng's sword energy directly shook the zombie back. However, the zombie's body was too hard. Therefore, it took such a heavy blow. The zombie didn't suffer any damage. Lin Feng stepped forward, opened his big hand, and directly suppressed the zombie. Dense runes appeared. They pressed down on the corpse demon. Every rune was surrounded by terrifying power. The runes pressed down on the corpse charm, suppressing it in place. Roar! The zombie demon let out an angry roar. It struggled hard, but it couldn't break free. Lin Feng walked toward the zombie, put his right hand directly on the zombie's head, and then began to search the zombie's soul. The zombie struggled violently. But after struggling for a while, it couldn't break free from Lin Feng's soul-searching technique. Lin Feng saw the zombie's memory. His memory was very complicated. Endless scenes appeared before his eyes. Lin Feng found some content he wanted to see from these images. For example, Lin Feng knew some terrifying existences in the Heavenly Mountain Range. In the deepest part of the Heavenly Mountain Range, there seemed to be several unimaginably terrifying existences sleeping. Back then. A terrifying existence that had been sleeping in the depths of the Azure Mountain range had awakened. When that terrifying existence awoke, something terrible happened. The entire heavenly mountain range was shrouded in an extremely terrifying aura. Some creatures in the heavenly mountain range even died. It was hard to imagine how terrifying the battle strength of the terrifying existence was to cause such pressure. Therefore, the Azure Mountain range was an extremely dangerous place. When entering the Azure Mountain range, one had to pray that the sleeping creatures inside would not wake up. Of course. So many years had passed. The existence in the heavenly mountain range never woke up again. Perhaps those existences would not awaken often, which was something worth celebrating. After Lin Feng found the answer he was looking for, he quickly flew into the depths of the forest. The place Lin Feng was going to was called Dragon Soul Valley. It was an extremely terrifying place in the Azure Mountain range. Not only did that place contain the laws of destruction that could obliterate the heavens and the earth, it was said to contain extremely violent dragon origin energy. This kind of dragon origin energy. It was said that it was left behind after the fall of the giant dragon. It was said that the dragon that fell in the Dragon Soul Valley was an extremely powerful divine dragon. Because their deaths were too tragic. Therefore, after his death, his body turned into the Dragon Soul Valley. The zombie had been to that place before. But it was too dangerous. Sure Mei hurriedly left that place. And that place. This was the place Lin Feng was looking for. Lin Feng had already entered several terrifying places of death. Therefore, Lin Feng had a lot of experience in entering those places of death. He knew how to restrain his aura in those places of death to avoid those terrifying creatures. Of course, it was very difficult to pass through those places of death. Lin Feng was also in danger in those places of death. He was targeted by a terrifying creature. That terrifying creature lingered in the darkness. After several battles, Lin Feng was almost killed by that terrifying creature. Fortunately, the mysterious iron box played a key role at this time. The mysterious iron box scared off that terrifying creature. And Lin Feng was lucky enough to escape in the end. If it wasn't for the mysterious iron box, Lin Feng knew that he would definitely die. Along the way, he saw some powerful cultivators join forces and enter the Azure Mountain range. Have they finally come in to look for the Great Wish Art? Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself. He knew. Those experts should have come in to look for the Great Wish Art. Many powers had already spied on the Great Wish Art to the point of madness. This was because those major powers were fully aware of how powerful the Great Wish Art was. If they could cultivate it successfully, it would be very useful to them. At that moment, Lin Feng sensed that a dangerous chi was approaching him quickly. No, it's not targeting me. It's targeting those experts from the major forces. Lin Feng couldn't help but take a deep breath. A terrifying creature from the Forbidden Zone was rapidly approaching. Lin Feng hurriedly left that area. There was more than one creature from the Forbidden Zone rushing over from afar. And it was extremely terrifying. Those great emperors were powerful. However, it was unrealistic to completely escape from the attacks of the creatures from the Forbidden Zones. When that happened, there would definitely be casualties. 5 days later, Lin Feng finally arrived at the Dragon Soul Valley after experiencing several life and death crises. Inside the Dragon Soul Valley, everywhere was steaming dragon chi and destructive energy. Vaguely, Lin Feng even felt that he seemed to hear a dragon's roar. When he heard the dragon's roar, Lin Feng couldn't help but be shocked. Could it be that the dragon origin power in the Dragon Soul Valley had already developed spirituality? It could actually let out a dragon's roar. It was really unbelievable. And it was extremely shocking. Lin Feng wandered around the Dragon Soul Valley for a while. He squatted down and deduced with the innate 8 trigrams. Then he revealed a look of contemplation. Dangerous place! Dead place! It's actually so dangerous. Lin Feng couldn't help but sigh slightly. Inside the Dragon Soul Valley, it was definitely a dangerous place. It was so terrifying that one couldn't help but be shocked. But such a place. It was the place where Lin Feng cultivated the 8-9 mysterious art. No matter how dangerous it was, Lin Feng had to take the risk and enter. He walked towards the interior of the Dragon Soul Valley. When he entered the interior of the Dragon Soul Valley, a terrifying power swept towards Lin Feng. That power was a special power formed by the fusion of the power of destruction and dragon origin power. That kind of power was incomparably terrifying. It swept across Lin Feng's body. Puff! Lin Feng's body was actually torn apart in an instant, dripping with blood. What a terrifying power! Lin Feng was extremely shocked. One had to know that Lin Feng's body was now equivalent to the body of an Imperial Emperor cultivator, but he was still unable to withstand the attack of that energy just now. From this, it could be seen just how terrifying was that energy. More and more terrifying energy surged towards Lin Feng. He wanted to kill Lin Feng. Those energies seemed to have their own spiritual consciousness. It was extremely strange. Lin Feng hurriedly activated the 8-9 mysterious art. When those terrifying energies surged over. Chapter 3457. One had to admit that Lin Feng's 8-9 arcane art was too overbearing. It devoured all energy. As the terrifying energy was devoured by the 8-9 arcane art, the terrifying energy was quickly refined by the 8-9 arcane art. Waves of powerful fluctuation surged out. That powerful fluctuation was enough to cause one's expression to change. As more and more terrifying energy was absorbed by Lin Feng, Lin Feng's body was adapting to the terrifying energy. Time passed. Lin Feng's 8-9 arcane art was steadily improving. Of course, it was not easy to make a breakthrough in the 8-9 arcane art. It required Lin Feng to be patient. Moreover, he had to endure all kinds of terrifying torture. Only in the end could he complete the breakthrough. Ah! Lin Feng could not help but roar. At this moment, Lin Feng came to the depths of the Dragon Soul Valley. He suffered a calamity here, and his body was almost completely torn to pieces. At the critical moment, Lin Feng hurriedly operated the immortal divine body and luckily saved his life. Fortunately, Lin Feng withstood this wave of attacks. The energy in the central region after the fusion of the dragon essence and the power of destruction was more terrifying than the energy in the outer region. In fact, Lin Feng had already thought of this situation and was mentally prepared. It had always been extremely difficult to make a breakthrough in the 8-9 arcane art. Lin Feng had been cultivating the 8-9 arcane art for many years. Therefore, he knew the 8-9 arcane art very well. The 8-9 arcane art was heaven-defying, but it was also very deadly. At that moment, Lin Feng could only practice the 8-9 mysteries, but he couldn't use it. In the future, perhaps he could find a way to resolve the 8-9 arcane art's consumption of vitality. At that time, the 8-9 arcane art would become one of the methods Lin Feng relied on the most. Lin Feng crazily operated the 8-9 arcane art to absorb the terrifying energy. A large amount of energy poured into Lin Feng's body. Lin Feng's 8-9 arcane art was steadily improving. Lin Feng knew he had found the right place. Although this place was dangerous, it could indeed make a breakthrough in his 8-9 arcane art. Lin Feng cultivated in the outer region for a day, but in the central region, he cultivated for 3 days. After 3 days, Lin Feng found that his body had a strong immunity to the terrifying energy in the central region. Lin Feng's physical body was also becoming stronger under the pressure of that terrifying strength. So, in this cycle of destruction and constant recovery, Lin Feng's physical body had become much stronger. When Lin Feng's body was strong to a certain extent, he would be immune to the terrifying energy. At that moment, the 8-9 mysterious arts seemed to be affected by Lin Feng's physical body. It was immune to that kind of strength. Therefore, at this time needed to absorb the energy to absorb. At this time, Lin Feng had to go to a deeper position. Lin Feng continued walking deeper and deeper. When Lin Feng arrived in the depths of the palace, his physical body was attacked again. But this time, Lin Feng was already prepared. He used his immortal divine body to resolve the great damage to his body in the depths of the Dragon's Soul Valley. Then, Lin Feng continued to devour the powerful energy that was the fusion of dragon origin power and destruction power in the depths of the Dragon's Soul Valley. Time flew by. 10 days passed in the blink of an eye. And Lin Feng's 8-9 arcane art had finally reached the point where it was about to transform. Waves of terrifying fluctuations surged out of Lin Feng's body. The fluctuations were so terrifying that it was suffocating. Lin Feng's 8-9 arcane art was operating at an unprecedented speed. When the 8-9 arcane art was operating, Lin Feng felt the immortal power and sovereign power in his body begin to operate quickly. The immortal power and sovereign power were the two powers contained in Lin Feng's immortal bloodline and sovereign bloodline respectively. The operation of the 8-9 arcane art actually took the initiative to drive the two bloodline powers to operate, which surprised Lin Feng. Right at this moment, a blurry world appeared on Lin Feng's left. In that world, several blurry figures appeared. They were the ancestors of Lin Feng's father's bloodline. They were all people who had stunned the ages. Lin Qi, Lin Xiaobai, Lin Beitian. There were also a few others that Lin Feng didn't recognize. This bloodline began with Lin Qi. It seemed that a few top experts had appeared in the past. Lin Feng's father, Lin Beitian, was among them. This was enough to show how extraordinary Lin Beitian's strength was. Another illusory world appeared on his right. The figures that appeared in that illusory world were the experts of the sovereign bloodline. The ancestors of the sovereign bloodline were incomparably powerful. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to call them the greatest and noblest bloodline of this era. The strength of this clan was something that no other clan or power could compare to. However, unfortunately, the sovereign bloodline had declined. Of course, Lin Feng's rise. It also meant that the sovereign bloodline would rise again. This was because half of Lin Feng's bloodline flowed in his body. It came from his mother's bloodline. The ancestors of the undying bloodline and the sovereign bloodline appeared at the same time. They all looked at Lin Feng. Their eyes were filled with endless anticipation. These ancestors. They seemed to be waiting for Lin Feng to fully mature. But right at this moment, something strange had happened. A third illusory world appeared behind Lin Feng. This third illusory world was a misty and mysterious world. It was like a mysterious world surrounded by the power of chaos. This mysterious world emitted a suffocating and terrifying aura. This mysterious world seemed to be filled with endless secrets. It seemed to be filled with the most mysterious secrets of all the worlds in the universe. That world. Immortal. Ancient. Powerful. What's up with the third world? Lin Feng couldn't help but feel puzzled. The first two worlds represented the undying bloodline and the sovereign bloodline. What did the third world represent? Lin Feng racked his brains but still couldn't figure it out. At this moment, the 8-9 Mysteries art sped up again. The 8-9 Mysteries art seemed to be completing its final transformation. Thus, Lin Feng withdrew his mind and didn't continue to think about what happened before. Boom! Then, a terrifying aura spread out. Then, the 8-9 Mysteries art broke through the barrier and directly broke through from the third level to the fourth level. This made Lin Feng happy. Just as Lin Feng broke through, a mountain in the depths of the Dragon's Soul Valley suddenly collapsed. A huge cave was revealed. Then, a low voice came from the cave. Someone actually dares to enter the Dragon's Soul Valley. Is he here to die? Along with the low voice, Li Tianlan's voice fell. An incomparably terrifying devouring power was emitted from the cave. That devouring power enveloped Lin Feng, wanting to suck Lin Feng into the cave. Chapter 3458. Not good. Lin Feng's face suddenly changed. Something happened inside the Dragon's Soul Valley. It must be full of danger. He had to leave this place quickly. Otherwise, the situation would be extremely dangerous. This point, Lin Feng was very clear. He increased his speed to the extreme and then rushed out of the Dragon's Soul Valley. However, what made Lin Feng depressed was that he was enveloped by the powerful devouring force. His body flew uncontrollably toward the deepest cave in the Dragon's Soul Valley. Lin Feng hurriedly activated his supreme aura. He wanted to use his supreme aura to resist the devouring force emitted from the depths of the cave in the Dragon's Soul Valley. But unfortunately, Lin Feng failed in the end. Even the Supreme Being's domineering aura was destroyed by the terrifying devouring power. This made Lin Feng reveal a feeling of horror. What exactly was it that emitted such a terrifying aura? It was actually so tyrannical? It made one's hair stand on end. In the end, Lin Feng was swallowed by the cave. The cave was extremely dark. And it was very deep. The cave emitted a gloomy and terrifying aura. Lin Feng was sucked into the deepest part of the cave. There was a huge mountain here. The devouring power disappeared into the belly of the mountain. Then, plop! Lin Feng fell to the ground. He was dizzy from the fall. Lin Feng couldn't help but get up from the ground gloomily. Just as he got up, Lin Feng felt a terrifying aura enveloping his body. In the darkness, there was a pair of cold eyes staring coldly at Lin Feng. When he saw that pair of cold eyes, Lin Feng's face couldn't help but reveal a trace of a horrified expression. What kind of eyes were that? Take a look. It made people feel as if they had fallen into a bottomless abyss. That pair of eyes. Like the eyes of the Grim Reaper. Terrifying. Terrifying. Awe-inspiring. People couldn't help but feel a sense of trepidation. Who are you? Lin Feng looked at the owner of those eyes with a serious expression. It should be this terrifying existence that had sucked him into the belly of the mountain. Lin Feng's mind was full of thoughts as he tried to think of a way to escape. The terrifying existence sneered. I haven't even asked you a question yet, and you're asking me a question first. You've got guts, Lin Feng said. If you're a coward, you wouldn't dare to come in. That terrifying existence said. I didn't expect you to have such guts. I'm very surprised. I've seen many people with extraordinary cultivation. Once they're trapped here, they'll change their appearance. You're different from those people, said Lin Feng. People are different, of course. In this world, there are no two people who are exactly the same. The terrifying existence asked. Countless cultivators who were sucked into this place have died at my hands. Many of them are much stronger than you. Aren't you worried about dying at my hands? Lin Feng replied indifferently. Why should I be worried? Because I know. I definitely won't die here. After hearing Lin Feng's words, the terrifying existence sneered. You're quite confident. However, I'm afraid you've guessed wrong today. You'll definitely die here today. No one in this world can save you. As soon as its voice faded, a loud rumbling sound suddenly rang out. A huge claw stretched out from the darkness. Then it grabbed at Lin Feng. The huge claw emitted a sinister and terrifying aura. It was like the claw of an evil dragon that had lived in hell for billions of years. Dragon claw. When Lin Feng saw the claw, he was very shocked. Because before this, from the memories of the zombie, he knew that a powerful divine dragon had fallen in the Dragon's Soul Valley. Now, the existence that attacked him seemed to be a divine dragon. Was this existence related to the legendary giant dragon that had fallen in the Dragon's Soul Valley? Or was there some special connection? Lin Feng was very curious about this. Of course, Lin Feng was also aware of one thing. Such a terrifying existence. It would definitely not be easy to deal with it. Although Lin Feng said that he would not die here, he was actually quite nervous. Buzz! Lin Feng activated the weapon mantra. The 3 stone swords quickly flew out and slashed at the dragon claw that was coming at them. Pft! 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 3 consecutive ripping sounds could be heard. Lin Feng could not help but be shocked. He originally thought that the 3 stone swords could at most block a few rounds of attacks from this terrifying existence. But who would have thought? The first attack of the 3 stone swords actually injured this terrifying existence, which made Lin Feng very puzzled. Such a terrifying aura should not be so weak. But it was an indisputable fact that this terrifying existence was injured. Stone sword. You actually have the stone sword. The terrifying existence could not help but cry out in horror. There was a hint of trembling in his voice. Lin Feng was very shocked. It seemed that this terrifying existence was afraid of the stone sword. The power of the stone sword was indeed incomparably powerful. But the key was that this existence was too terrifying. He should not be so afraid of the stone sword. Could it be? Could it be? Lin Feng thought of a possibility. He remembered. The stone sword was the most harmful to those living beings who had crossed eras. If Lin Feng activated the stone sword, he could kill this era's Emperor Realm expert. Then, if Lin Feng controlled the stone sword, he might be able to kill those emperors and holy emperors among the living beings who had crossed eras. The damage caused by the stone sword to living beings who had crossed eras was far greater than the damage caused by other living beings. Lin Feng did not know the exact reason. Therefore, Lin Feng saw the terrifying existence's terrified voice when facing the stone sword. He thought of that possibility. This terrifying existence should be a living being who had crossed eras. Only this could explain why this existence was so severely injured by the stone sword. Since it was a living being who had crossed eras, there was no need for him to be so afraid of this living being. The 3 stone swords floated beside Lin Feng. Lin Feng walked towards the depths step by step. He wanted to see the appearance of this terrifying existence. When Lin Feng approached the existence, he finally saw the appearance of the existence clearly. It was indeed a huge dragon, but it was a black dragon. This made Lin Feng feel extremely surprised. The black dragon in front of him was exactly the same size as the Eastern Divine Dragon. However, the Eastern Divine Dragon's dragon scales were purplish gold. The dragon scales of this dragon were black. This was the biggest difference. This dragon was very similar to the weapon spirit of Lin Feng's black dragon sword. You are a living being who has crossed eras? Chapter 3459. Since you know, you still have to ask? The black dragon glared at Lin Feng fiercely. However, the black dragon no longer dared to attack Lin Feng. This was because Lin Feng had 3 stone swords in his hands. The suppression of the 3 stone swords was too great. If he rashly attacked Lin Feng, even if his cultivation level was far higher than Lin Feng's, he would still be killed. Lin Feng might even kill him. Of course, the most likely outcome would be a lose-lose situation. This was not something the black dragon wanted to see. However, the black dragon was intimidated by Lin Feng, a young cultivator with a low cultivation level. This made the black dragon very angry. Therefore, when he faced Lin Feng, his tone was extremely bad. Lin Feng naturally knew what the black dragon was thinking. Therefore, he did not care about the black dragon's attitude. He was now wondering if he could get some benefits from the black dragon. This guy was so powerful. He must have many extraordinary and unimaginable abilities. He might even have divine abilities so powerful that others would drool. Perhaps he could use some methods to obtain these powerful divine abilities from the black dragon. What kind of state are you in? I feel like there's something wrong with your body. Lin Feng looked at the black dragon and could not help but ask. This was something he was extremely curious about. Although the black dragon had transcended epochs, his combat strength was not as strong as he had imagined. The black dragon said, "In your opinion, what does transcending epochs mean?" Lin Feng frowned slightly. He had not expected the black dragon to ask him such a strange question. Lin Feng said, "Transcending epochs? Naturally, it means living to the next epoch. Moreover, one can obtain an extremely long lifespan," the black dragon said. "Have you ever heard of the law of conservation?" Lin Feng nodded. At the same time, he pondered over the black dragon's words. The black dragon continued, "The law of conservation tells us that the more we gain, the more we lose. Living beings who transcend epochs obtain new life, and their lifespans are extremely long. Therefore, they will definitely suffer losses in other aspects. Lin Feng was speechless. Because this was the first time he had heard of such a thing. It was no wonder that this was the first time Lin Feng had heard of such a thing. Although Lin Feng had seen living beings that had transcended epochs, he had never seen them before. However, he had never had a serious conversation with the Black Dragon. Lin Feng thought of the Black Fog creature from before. He used to be so powerful. Especially at the beginning of the new era, the strength of the Black Fog creatures was simply indescribable. But as the era gradually passed, one era after another passed, the strength of the creatures in the Black Mist continued to decline. In addition to the decline of their strength, their bodies seemed to have encountered some other problems. However, Lin Feng didn't know much about the other situations that the creatures in the Black Fog encountered. However, Lin Feng knew that those living beings in the Black Fog must have encountered a lot of trouble. Lin Feng said, "It seems that living beings that have transcended epochs will more or less encounter some trouble." Black Dragon nodded and said, "That's right. That's indeed the case. At the beginning of the new era, after absorbing the era's luck, one's cultivation will reach its peak in a relatively short period of time. Many people think that they are about to break through their shackles and reach an even greater peak. However, at that time, terrifying things will happen. All sorts of strange things, curses, and other things will happen to the living beings that have transcended epochs. Therefore, many living beings that have transcended epochs will experience a constant decline in their strength after reaching their peak. Moreover, they will encounter some terrifying things." Black Dragon's eyes revealed an extremely terrified expression when he said this. Lin Feng's heart skipped a beat. Black Dragon was so terrified. What did that mean? Lin Feng thought of a possibility and said, "It seems that you are actually hiding in this place to avoid some danger that you have sensed." Black Dragon said, "That's right. You guessed correctly." Lin Feng asked, "What are you hiding from?" Black Dragon said, "I can't say. I don't dare say. Everything has its own premonition. If I tell you, it won't end well for me. You shouldn't be asking about this. Do you think that with your cultivation, you will be able to continue living smoothly after knowing all this?" Lin Feng fell silent. It was indeed as Black Dragon had said. This matter was filled with mysteries and unknown dangers. Therefore, it was better not to know some things. Black Dragon continued, "There are still some living beings like me who are struggling at death's door and trying their best to survive until the end of an epoch. That way, we will have a chance to be reborn. At that time, we will once again obtain the power of a new epoch, gain new lifespan, and become stronger once more." Lin Feng sneered and said, "So, the living beings that have transcended epochs are one of the driving forces behind the great wars that have engulfed the universe? They want the epoch to end as soon as possible. Only then will they have a chance to be reborn." "That's right. However, don't think that there is anything wrong with this. Every man for himself, and the devil takes the hindmost. This is a principle that everyone understands," Black Dragon said. Lin Feng frowned, but he did not refute Black Dragon's words even though he did not want to admit it. However, he had to admit that Black Dragon's words were correct. Every man for himself. The devil takes the hindmost. Humanity. That was it. This was especially true in a place like the world of cultivators. Cultivators were even more selfish than cultivators. They only had themselves in their hearts. How could there be anyone else? Black Dragon continued, "Although the living beings that have transcended epochs will encounter all sorts of troubles, there will always be some heaven-defying existences among them. Those existences are truly enviable. They can resolve all sorts of troubles and remain incomparably powerful even until the end of an epoch." Lin Feng had thought of this as well. Nothing was absolute. Anything. Accidents would always occur. For example, the calamities encountered by the living beings that have transcended epochs. However, there would always be some living beings that could view the calamities as a way to improve their cultivation. Moreover, those living beings that have transcended epochs were able to achieve this. The previous epoch? What kind of world was it? Lin Feng could not help but ask curiously. He only knew that this world had a boundless starry sky, beautiful mountains and rivers, 3,000 worlds, dazzling epics of history, legendary heroes that could make one weep and sing, beautiful fairies, and countless myths and legends. However, Lin Feng did not know what the previous epoch was like. Chapter 3460. Hearing Lin Feng's question, the black dragon was shocked. The black dragon couldn't help but fall into deep thought. He seemed to be thinking back to the previous era and what kind of world it was. In the end, the black dragon shook his head and said, "I've forgotten. I've completely forgotten." "How could you forget?" Lin Feng asked. The black dragon said, "Even if you cross eras and live another life. But have you ever thought that your family, loved ones, relatives, friends, fellow disciples, etc., would all die? At that time, you would be left all alone in the world, with no one to rely on and no one to rely on. Do you know what kind of feeling that is? That kind of feeling. It's really terrible. It's simply infuriating. It's a feeling worse than death. Thus, at that time, many living beings who have crossed eras will choose to forget some things, such as forgetting the mountains and rivers of the previous era, or even forgetting their family, loved ones, friends, fellow disciples, and so on." Lin Feng said, "The mountains and rivers can be forgotten, but can one really forget their family, loved ones, friends, fellow disciples, and so on?" The black dragon sighed and said, "You won't know if you haven't experienced it yourself. Perhaps you'll have the chance to experience it in the future. At that time, you'll know if you can forget them." Lin Feng could hear the sadness in the black dragon's voice. Perhaps, the black dragon couldn't forget those people either. Who could do that? For any living being of any race, the thing they couldn't let go of the most was their emotions. Perhaps the so-called severing of the 7 emotions and 6 desires. Perhaps it was just a beautiful wish. Even the great Thunderclap Temple's holy monks couldn't do that. Lin Feng said, "What powerful techniques did the previous era have? Give me a few. I'll use them to defend myself." "Scram!" The black dragon, who was still a little sad, was furious when he heard Lin Feng's words. He glared fiercely at Lin Feng and roared. If Lin Feng didn't have the 3 stone swords, the black dragon wouldn't be afraid of Lin Feng. In the black dragon's eyes, Lin Feng was simply an ant-like existence. Such an ant actually dared to negotiate with him. How hateful! Black Dragon almost couldn't hold it in any longer, and directly swiped his claw at Lin Feng. However, when he thought of the 3 stone swords Lin Feng had grasped, Black Dragon managed to restrain himself with great difficulty. Lin Feng said indifferently, "Why are you so angry? This is a normal exchange of sacred arts. Teach me a few powerful techniques, and I'll teach you a few divine abilities from this epoch. How about it? Do you think I care about your divine abilities?" The black dragon looked at Lin Feng with disdain. Lin Feng said, "So you're saying that you're not willing to cooperate? Are you planning to fight?" One. As soon as Lin Feng finished speaking, the 3 stone swords began to vibrate the void. The terror was boundless. The power of these 3 stone swords. They could be said to be peerlessly terrifying. When Black Dragon sensed the aura emitted by Lin Feng's 3 stone swords, his expression turned incomparably gloomy. It hadn't been easy for him to survive until now without dying. He Long didn't want to expose himself because of Lin Feng. He didn't want to die. Black Dragon said fiercely, "If it weren't for these 3 stone swords, I would be able to kill you with a single swipe of my claw." That point, Lin Feng wouldn't deny it. It was indeed as Black Dragon had said. Considering Black Dragon's terrifying strength, he was indeed capable. Black Dragon could kill him with a single swipe of his claw. But so what? Lin Feng wasn't someone to be trifled with either. "But I have 3 stone swords. Therefore, in this world, ifs, none of these are valid," Lin Feng said with an indifferent expression. "You're right. None of these are valid. Black Dragon shook his head and couldn't help but say. Finally. He nodded and said, I can teach you a sacred art. After you cultivate it, hurry up and leave this place. I don't want to see you again. Ha ha ha, don't worry, I don't want to stay here either. However, before I teach you the sacred art, we have to make it clear that the sacred art you teach me later must be that kind of powerful, terrifying top sacred art. You can't teach me ordinary sacred art to fool me, otherwise I won't leave, Lin Feng said. Black Dragon said coldly. Don't worry, the sacred art I teach you is definitely a sacred art that can cause a storm of blood in the myriad realms. After Black Dragon finished speaking, he raised his huge dragon claw. Then, a claw pointed towards Lin Feng. Following that, Lin Feng felt as if there was something extra in his mind. He checked it carefully and found that it was a cultivation technique. 9 heavens 10 earths supremacy technique. After seeing this sacred art, Lin Feng's eyes couldn't help but light up. What a domineering name! 9 heavens 10 earths. It referred to a vague concept, roughly referring to the myriad realms of the myriad realms. The words, I, the unique and righteous, were even easier to understand. It meant that between heaven and earth, I am the supreme. What made Lin Feng pleasantly surprised was that this sacred art was similar to his own Path of the Supreme Being. There seemed to be some similarities. Of course, Lin Feng's Path of the Supreme Being was created by him. Even though it was similar to the 9 heavens 10 earths supremacy technique, it was estimated that there wouldn't be too many similarities. Lin Feng felt that this 9 heavens 10 earths supremacy technique might be able to inspire him. Let him better perfect his own Path of the Supreme Being. One day. Maybe. Could the Path of the Supreme Being created by Lin Feng surpass the Path of the Mortal, created by the Red World Fairy? This kind of thing. Who could say for sure? Now that the sacred art has been taught to you, you can leave, Black Dragon said. He had already begun to drive Lin Feng away. He didn't want Lin Feng to continue to stay here. Because after seeing Lin Feng, he felt that his temper would become extremely irritable. As for the reason, naturally it was because he was angered by Lin Feng. Lin Feng said, We have such a good cooperation. Don't be in such a hurry to let me go, aren't you lonely by yourself? Isn't it good to chat with you more? Stop! 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 Black Dragon hurriedly said. He didn't believe that Lin Feng had such good intentions. Hurry up and leave, don't make me flip out! Black Dragon continued to look at Lin Feng fiercely. If possible, he really wanted to smash Lin Feng into meat paste with his claws. Lin Feng said, Answer my question and I'll leave. Hurry up and ask. Black Dragon said angrily. This guy only wanted to send Lin Feng away as soon as possible. Nothing else. He didn't want to think about anything else. You should know where the Great Wish technique is, right? Chapter 3461. Great Wish Technique. The most difficult Great Tao to cultivate among the 3,000 Great Taos. It was also the Great Tao that Lin Feng had peeked at for a long time. This 3,000 Great Tao. It was incomparably terrifying. Countless people wanted to obtain this 3,000 Great Tao. One of the reasons why Lin Feng took the risk to enter the Azure Mountain Range was to search for the Great Wish technique. As for the collision with the Black Dragon, if he could obtain the Supreme in the 9 heavens and 10 earths ability from the Black Dragon, he would be able to obtain it. It was a pleasant surprise. Of course, this pleasant surprise made Lin Feng extremely happy. If he could obtain the Great Wish technique, Lin Feng was even happier. The Great Wish technique was too important to Lin Feng. The mountain in the northwest is called the Great Wish Mountain. There is a Great Wish stone. You can go to that place and take a look. Perhaps you can gain something there, the Black Dragon said. All right, then we'll meet again. Lin Feng waved his hand at the Black Dragon and kept the 3 stone swords. Then, he quickly rushed outside. Who the hell would meet you again? It's best if we never meet again, the Black Dragon couldn't help but mutter. For Lin Feng, The black dragon gnashed his teeth in hatred. Lin Feng walked out of the Dragon's Soul Valley. At this moment, it was night. The night in the Death Impasse was extremely unpeaceful. Every Death Impasse was like this. For example, Lin Feng had seen terrifying things like ghost soldiers borrowing the path in some Death Impasse nights. He had also seen things like ghost parade in some Death Impasse. He had also seen some terrifying and heaven-defying existences awaken from their slumber in some Death Impasse. Therefore, the night in the Death Impasse. It was too terrifying. Too terrifying. When night fell, if one was still wandering outside the Death Impasse, they might die without a burial place. If I knew it was night outside, I would have stayed with the Black Dragon for a while. Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter. However, since he had come out, he had no intention of going back. Lin Feng walked onto the mountain that the Black Dragon mentioned. He headed towards that mountain. Rustle, 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 rustle. Suddenly, Lin Feng heard a faint sound. If it weren't for his strong spiritual sense, he would have been able to escape. He couldn't hear those voices at all. When Lin Feng heard that sound, he couldn't help but frown. In the darkness, something seemed to be approaching them quickly. At this moment, Lin Feng felt a sudden pain in his right hand. He looked at his right hand and saw a small black bug lying on it. Lin Feng wanted to slap that little bug to death. However, he was horrified to find that he couldn't move his body at all. Moreover, Lin Feng felt that all of his consciousness was rapidly leaving his body. Little bug. It was highly toxic. Moreover, it was an extremely terrifying poison. Even with Lin Feng's tyrannical cultivation base, he was still able to withstand it. Even he was unable to resist this poison. From this, one could see how terrifying this poison was. Lin Feng couldn't help but think of the powerful Mai Takeo. Rumor had it that Mio Mio was an immortal. Even now, there were endless legends about Mio Mio in the Nine States world. Later, Lin Feng followed many cultivators into the martial origin immortal mansion left behind by Mio Mio. In the martial origin immortal mansion, Lin Feng found some clues. He found a poisonous bug. According to the clues left behind by Mio Mio, Lin Feng learned. Mio Mio, a terrifying expert, was stung by a poisonous bug. Then he was poisoned to death. Mio Mio was an immortal. Yet he was poisoned to death by a poisonous bug. It was unimaginable, shocking, and unbelievable. However, it was indeed true. Between heaven and earth, there would always be some terrifying creatures born that you could never imagine. And those terrifying creatures, they were incomparably heaven-defying, so heaven-defying that people couldn't help but turn pale with fright. For example, the poisonous bug that killed an immortal like Mio Mio. And Lin Feng encountered the same thing as Mio Mio. Now, Lin Feng could only smile bitterly. Along the way, how many life and death situations had he experienced? No matter how dangerous it was, he had successfully overcome them. But now, was he going to die under the claws and fangs of a poisonous bug? This made Lin Feng extremely depressed and unwilling. He didn't want to die like this. But now, Lin Feng's body couldn't withstand the strong poison. Even his divine sense was sealed by the strong poison. He couldn't use it to communicate with the white jade toad. Croak, croak, croak! Just as Lin Feng was about to be poisoned to death, Lin Feng suddenly heard the white jade toad's voice. The white jade toad was extremely sensitive to strong poison. Although Lin Feng couldn't communicate with the white jade toad. But because the white jade toad was connected to Lin Feng's soul, it was a spiritual beast. So the white jade toad could sense everything about Lin Feng. Not long after Lin Feng was poisoned, the white jade toad sensed it. So the white jade toad quickly flew out, stood on Lin Feng's shoulder, and suddenly inhaled. Suddenly, the strong poison in Lin Feng's body began to be continuously absorbed by the white jade toad. In these years, the white jade toad had completed its evolution. Now it stopped at the fourth stage. The ability that the white jade toad got every time it evolved was extremely extraordinary. But Even though its ability was extremely terrifying now, after absorbing the strong poison in Lin Feng's body, the white jade toad's body turned pitch black. Even the white jade toad couldn't detoxify the strong poison absorbed from Lin Feng's body in a short time. From this, it could be seen how terrifying this strong poison was. That was Lin Feng. If it were anyone else, they would have been poisoned to death long ago. Lin Feng felt his body recover and could finally breathe a sigh of relief. At this time, Lin Feng found that the poisonous bug on his hand was already dead. He put the poisonous bug into the porcelain bottle. Then he touched the white jade toad's head. Croak, croak, croak. The white jade toad called out a few times, revealing a friendly aura. Then it returned to the mountain river ring to refine the strong poison absorbed from Lin Feng's body. Lin Feng put the porcelain bottle with the poisonous bug into the mountain river ring. Although Lin Feng didn't like to use poison. But it didn't mean that. Lin Feng didn't know how to use poison. Taking this poisonous bug, it might be useful in the future. Damn it! As expected of the land of death, there is actually such a terrifying bug that almost took my life. Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter gloomily. He didn't stop and continued to walk towards the Grand Aspiration Mountain. This night, there were roars of beasts everywhere, and terrifying creatures of the forbidden area appeared. Fortunately, Lin Feng's methods were extraordinary, and he avoided those terrifying creatures of the forbidden area. At noon the next day, Lin Feng finally arrived at the foot of the Grand Aspiration Mountain. Chapter 3462. The Great Wish Mountain was vast and majestic. It was definitely a terrifying place. The aura it emitted made Lin Feng feel very uncomfortable. This place is not simple. Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself. Boom! At this time, a terrifying fluctuation was emitted from the Great Wish Mountain. After feeling the terrifying fluctuation, Lin Feng's expression couldn't help but become solemn. He felt as if a terrifying creature had been born. Once a creature from the death impasse was born, it would be extremely terrifying. He had to be on guard. Otherwise, for anyone, it was very likely that it would be a disaster. Lin Feng had entered the death impasse many times, so he knew how to seek survival in the death impasse. Waves of sinister and terrifying aura spread out. Soon, Lin Feng saw a terrifying creature. It was a three-headed monster. Its body was like a purple python, and it was nearly 1,000 meters long. Among the three heads, the head in the middle was a python's head. The head on the left was a malicious ghost's head. The head on the right was a Qilin's head. Lin Feng had seen many creatures in his life, but this was the first time he had seen such a terrifying creature. This kind of creature was simply too strange. The aura it emitted was like the aura of the death god. Such a terrifying existence, who knew how powerful its combat strength was? Lin Feng completely hid himself, and even his aura was completely restrained. If he was seen by that terrifying creature, Lin Feng knew how terrible the result would be. Such a terrifying creature was too powerful, so he had to be on guard against it. That terrifying creature rushed out of the Great Wish Mountain, and then disappeared into the mountain range in front of it. After that terrifying creature left, Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter, "This death impasse is really a strange place. There are all kinds of fierce beasts. Yes. Death impasse. It's really strange." At this time, the demon lord's voice sounded. Lin Feng came out from his hiding place and continued to walk towards the Great Wish Mountain. The Great Ambition Mountain was a mountain that was 7,000 to 8,000 meters tall. The mountain ridge extended for 40 or 50 miles. The ancient forest was densely packed, and danger lurked everywhere. Lin Feng walked all the way to the top of Grand Ambition Mountain. When Lin Feng arrived halfway up the Great Wish Mountain, Lin Feng saw a huge rock at the top of the mountain. The boulder was surrounded by a powerful primordial force. Grand Wish Stone! Lin Feng couldn't help but take a deep breath. The boulder was extraordinary, and it was surrounded by endless saint power. It was densely covered with runes. Vaguely, one could even hear the sound of the Tao. That Great Wish Stone should be related to the Great Wish Technique, the Demon Lord said. Lin Feng nodded. He thought so too. He felt that the Great Wish Stone and the Great Wish Technique must have an extremely close connection. However, he still needed to observe carefully for now. Roar! A deep roar suddenly resounded between heaven and earth. A terrifying creature flew over from afar. It was a Bian. Its bloodline was incomparably powerful. The Bian's bloodline dyed half the sky blood red. Lin Feng was extremely shocked. The Bian's strength was absolutely shocking. He observed the Bian's every move from afar. When the Bian came to the side of the Great Wish Stone, it actually sat down cross-legged. It straightened its body. Its two front legs stretched out in front of its body, like the two hands of a cultivator, and its hooves were together. He began to meditate in a dignified manner. This works? Lin Feng couldn't help but roll his eyes. The Bian was extraordinary. Although it didn't take human form, Lin Feng guessed that it wasn't because it didn't have the strength. It was because the Bian didn't want to take human form. Not only was the Bian powerful, but its comprehension was also extremely powerful. Not long after it sat down cross-legged, the Great Wish Stone vibrated and emitted a mysterious sound. Those were the voices of many people. It resounded through the clouds. When they heard the voices one after another, they were stunned. Lin Feng couldn't help but be shocked. He felt the aura of the Great Path from the sound. Perhaps I can use the Bian's comprehension of the Great Path to have an epiphany. Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself. Then, he sat down cross-legged and began to comprehend the Great Path of heaven and earth. Lin Feng comprehended the mysterious aura of the Great Path. When he felt the aura of the Great Path, Lin Feng couldn't help but take a deep breath. He sank into a deep level of epiphany. He was comprehending the aura of the Great Path. Lin Feng vaguely saw Long River. Then, all kinds of voices entered Lin Feng's mind. I hope to become a peerless expert and never be bullied again. I hope to win Siyu's heart. I will love her for the rest of my life. I hope that my parents and loved ones can be healthy. With my demon blood, I will dye the sky red. I am willing to burn my demon blood to protect the demon race's holy land. I will have no regrets even if I die. To protect my homeland, I will shed blood in battle. I am willing to fight until my soul is shattered. I will never retreat. Those voices were echoing in Lin Feng's head. Lin Feng felt as though his head was about to split open. Pain. Unparalleled pain. That kind of pain. It made Lin Feng feel as though he was better off dead. Fortunately, Lin Feng's soul power was extremely powerful. He successfully resolved the pain of his soul being shattered. Finally, Lin Feng was gradually getting used to the voices of those people. These voices are the wishes of every living being. Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself. These wishes were naturally different. Some wish for their loved ones to be healthy, some wish for themselves to have a meteoric rise, and some wish for those who were willing to sacrifice themselves to protect the safety of their people's homeland. Lin Feng realized that he had unknowingly arrived at the Long River. He was traveling through the Long River. Lin Feng saw the runes formed by the wishes one after another. All of a sudden, the runes turned into rune fish. They swam around Lin Feng. This river of wishes had been formed over countless tens of thousands of years. The wishes of countless people had successfully condensed into this river of wishes. However, these wishes, they couldn't be considered grand wishes. The so-called great ambition was just like the great ambition that immortal venerable red dust had made. For the sake of all living beings in the world. The Red World Fairy was even willing to sacrifice herself. That was the true grand wish. I am willing to give up my 9 bodies in exchange for another chance to reverse the fate of all living beings. Suddenly, a new voice sounded in Lin Feng's mind. When he heard this wish, Lin Feng's body couldn't help but tremble. For all living beings in the world. He was willing to give up his 9 bodies. This wish, it was enough to be called a grand wish. Chapter 3463. Vaguely, Lin Feng seemed to have seen a mysterious world. That world. Smoke filled the air. War raged on. He didn't know what kind of world it was. He could only vaguely see some scenes. Cultivators fell from the sky one by one. However, it still couldn't stop those cultivators from charging into the sky without fear of death. In the sky, dark clouds covered the sky. It emitted a suffocating and terrifying aura. After feeling that terrifying aura, Lin Feng's face couldn't help but reveal a shocked and moved expression. That aura was too terrifying. Anyone who felt that aura would probably feel a chill down their spine. Kill! Earth-shaking shouts resounded through the sky. Myriad Taos were shattered, and the heavenly Tao collapsed. Cultivators fell, and the sky cried blood. A man shrouded in boundless holy light charged into the 9 heavens. It was him who made a great wish, abandoning the ninefold body, in exchange for a chance to reverse the fate of the world. What kind of feeling was this? There were very few people in the world who could do this. Because, no matter who it was, their own lives were the most precious. Giving up one's life for someone else sounded unbelievable. If one lived, only then would there be hope. If one died, just like an extinguished lamp flame, once one died, everything would become nothing. So the cultivators in the world of cultivators, they were all striving to live longer. They were all striving to make themselves stronger. They were even yearning for eternal life. And now, someone actually gave up his life for the sake of the world. What kind of great moral integrity was this? It was unimaginable. It was shocking. It was moving. That powerhouse fell. In the end, the fate of the world was reversed. The scene changed. Lin Feng suddenly found that the world filled with war had become another scene. There were scenes full of vitality everywhere. He sacrificed himself in exchange for hope. Lin Feng couldn't help but say to himself. Vaguely, Lin Feng felt that he seemed to have an epiphany. Runes began to form in his mind. Those runes were combining. Lin Feng could feel the sound of the great Tao from the runes. Those runes were surrounded by endless mysterious power. His voice sounded like the chanting of the great Tao. It shook the soul. The runes of the great vow art! Lin Feng was shocked. Those runes were actually the runes of the great wish art. Very soon, Lin Feng closed his eyes and continued to comprehend the mysterious power within the runes. Time passed quickly. It was unknown how much time had passed. More and more mysterious runes appeared in Lin Feng's mind. Lin Feng comprehended even more runes. Those runes intertwined in his mind and turned into the eternal immortal rune. Those eternal immortal talismans. It turned into the most primitive cultivation method. And this kind of cultivation technique was the cultivation technique of the Great Wish technique. I really obtained the cultivation formula for the Great Vow art. Lin Feng's face lit up with joy. The Great Vow art was a magical ability that everyone wanted to obtain. Once such a magical ability was displayed, it would play an incomparably crucial role for a cultivator. Now he finally obtained the magical ability, the Great Vow art. As long as he could successfully cultivate this magical ability, Lin Feng believed, in the future, this divine ability would definitely be able to display endless miraculous effects. At this moment, a gloomy and cold aura filled the air. That aura made Lin Feng's body freeze in an instant. Lin Feng couldn't help but be shocked. He looked around. Suddenly, Lin Feng's eyes suddenly focused. To the left, a terrifying creature looked at him with cold eyes. That terrifying creature walked over step by step. That terrifying creature was none other than the mighty Swanee. It wasn't the first time Lin Feng had seen such a terrifying creature like Tao Wu. However, the Tao Wu he had seen before was far from being as powerful as this one. Not only was his cultivation inferior in terms of bloodline, compared to this Tao Wu in front of him, it was unknown how many times worse it was. This Tao Wu in front of him was definitely a peerless and terrifying existence. The aura emitted from its body made one feel a sense of horror. There was no way to know how powerful such a terrifying existence was. After seeing this Tao Wu, Lin Feng couldn't help but take a deep breath. He quickly got up and looked at the Tao Wu divine beast walking over step by step with a guarded expression. "You're very smart. You can actually comprehend the great vow art from the great Tao aura emitted when I was comprehending the Tao," the Tao Wu divine beast said. Its voice was very cold, making Lin Feng feel as if he was in the North Pole's snowfield. That feeling. It could be said to be incomparably terrible. Lin Feng didn't say anything. He was quietly observing the changes. Because Lin Feng felt that this Tao Wu divine beast didn't seem to want to attack him. If it had attacked, with this Tao Wu divine beast's strength, it wouldn't have needed to wait until now. It could have attacked long ago. But since it hadn't attacked yet, it was enough to explain too many problems. "Quickly leave this place. This is not a place you should be," the Tao Wu divine beast said in a cold voice. Lin Feng looked at the Tao Wu divine beast in surprise. Although he didn't feel any hostility from the Tao Wu divine beast, he didn't expect that the Tao Wu divine beast would let him leave so easily. "Goodbye." Lin Feng couldn't figure out the reason, so he simply stopped thinking about it. He cupped his fists at the Tao Wu divine beast. Then he quickly rushed into the distance. After Lin Feng left, the Tao Wu divine beast couldn't help but mutter to itself. "He's really too similar to that man," the Tao Wu divine beast couldn't help but say. 60 years ago, a human cultivator arrived at this place. What happened that day, the Tao Wu divine beast could never forget. After that human cultivator came to the Heavenly Mountain Range. The entire Heavenly Mountain Range. It was as if it was frozen. Countless powerful beings in the land of extremists were imprisoned, including itself. Different from other beings in the land of extremists. The Tao Wu divine beast. It was lucky enough to see that man's appearance. That man entered the deepest part of the land of extremists. That was the place where several terrifying existences were sleeping. What did that man do in there? Later, everything returned to normal. And several terrifying existences gave orders at the same time. "If any living being sees that man, you must keep this a secret. Otherwise, kill without mercy." The Tao Wu divine beast itself didn't know how powerful these terrifying existences were. But the Tao Wu divine beast knew one thing. Those terrifying existences almost never woke up at the same time. But now they woke up at the same time and gave orders. There were some hidden reasons. Thinking about it carefully. Chapter 3464. Originally, the divine beast Swanee thought that it might never see that terrifying man again. Until it saw Lin Feng. It even almost thought that Lin Feng was that man. Very quickly, the divine beast Swanee could tell the difference between Lin Feng and that man. Bloodline inheritance. The divine beast Swanee could feel the bloodline that Lin Feng inherited from that man. It was a direct bloodline. The divine beast Swanee knew. That man. He should be the father of the young cultivator in front of it. So, even if the divine beast Swanee had 100 guts, it wouldn't dare to deal with Lin Feng. Instead, it reminded Lin Feng to leave this place quickly. He didn't want other people to kill Lin Feng. When the time came, it was likely that all the living beings in the land of death would be buried together with him. The divine beast Swanee didn't want to die so miserably. After leaving the Heavenly Mountain Range, Lin Feng found a secluded place in the ancient forest to cultivate in seclusion. He planned to cultivate the supremacy of the 9 heavens and 10 earths technique. This was a supreme ability passed down from the previous era. If he succeeded in cultivating it, he would definitely be able to erupt with unimaginable terrifying power. It wasn't easy to cultivate this ability. Lin Feng spent a full 5 months to comprehend the supremacy of the 9 heavens and 10 earths technique. This was a shocking ability, reversing fate and shattering 10,000 Tao. 9 heavens and 10 earths. Who could match it? After comprehending this ability, Lin Feng hurriedly comprehended the Great Wish technique, the 3,000 Great Tao. In the blink of an eye, a year had passed. But Lin Feng still couldn't successfully comprehend the Great Wish technique. It was really too difficult to cultivate this 3,000 Great Tao. Even for Lin Feng and the others. It was the same. Wanting to cultivate this ability was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Maybe the time isn't right yet. Lin Feng couldn't help but think. He chose to come out of seclusion and left the great world of destruction. After confirming the route, he continued to fly in the direction of the undying realm. Traveling through the starry sky was lonely and lonely. Lin Feng sat cross-legged in the ancient starship Xianyuan by himself. The ancient starship Xianyuan jumped through space-time. Lin Feng, on the other hand, was studying the heart plate. Heart plate. It was a supreme treasure. No matter where he wanted to go, even if he didn't know about the ancient star map. However, as long as he could control the heart plate. In that case, the heart plate can take you to that place. This was the most heaven-defying aspect of the heart plate. Lin Feng had already obtained the heart plate for some time. However, he was still unable to comprehend the secrets of the heart plate. Lin Feng felt that it was a pity. If he could comprehend the heart plate, to him, it would be a great help. The heart plate would definitely have an unimaginable effect. 1 month later, Lin Feng arrived in another part of the star region. This star field was called the Scattered Star Field. The reason why this star field had such a name was said to be because the scattered star field was filled with small life planets. Moreover, there were many life planets here. An ordinary star field might have a flourishing great world, as well as some massive planets with life. The scattered star field was the complete opposite. All of them were small life-bearing planets like this. Lin Feng landed on the dustless star of the scattered star field. He planned to rest here. Myriad Immortals Restaurant. It was very lively. Lin Feng ordered a table full of delicious food. He also ordered a few pots of wine. He planned to enjoy the delicious food and wine. Have you heard? Some time ago, Supreme Sovereign Myriad Star was ambushed and severely injured. He seemed to have been captured. Now, Supreme Sovereign Myriad Star's Myriad Immortals planet has been taken away. At this time, the conversation of the guests at the next table attracted Lin Feng's attention. Supreme Sovereign Myriad Star. This name left a deep impression on him. Wasn't this Yu Simon's father? Back then, Lin Feng had competed with Naylan Monley, Yu Simon, and the others for the supreme treasure. Purple Flame Golden Lotus. Naylan Monley was a cultivator from the heavenly sage Great World. Together with young Master Nye and the others, they formed the Anti-Lin Feng Alliance. They wanted to kill Lin Feng, but they failed several times. And Yu Simon first appeared as a good friend of Naylan Monley. They had once trained together, so their friendship was quite good. However, in order to compete for the supreme treasure, Purple Flame Golden Lotus, Yu Simon ambushed Naylan Monley and injured Naylan Monley. Then, she ambushed and killed another 12 cultivators who were allied with them. For benefits. Yu Simon was also a ruthless and unscrupulous woman. However, Lin Feng was already used to this kind of thing. The world of cultivators had always been so cruel. It was just that Yu Simon had calculated everything, but she couldn't calculate Lin Feng's appearance. At that time, Lin Feng was hiding in the dark and saw this group of people killing each other. Lin Feng rushed out at the critical moment, suppressed Yu Simon, and captured Naylan Monley. At that time, Yu Simon used her father's identity to threaten Lin Feng. At this time, Lin Feng knew that Yu Simon's background was extraordinary. Her father was actually an Emperor Realm powerhouse. It was this supreme venerable myriad star. Later, when Lin Feng refined the 12 lotus seeds of the purple flame golden lotus to increase his cultivation, he was eroded by the power of the purple flame golden lotus and almost went berserk. At the critical moment, Lin Feng pounced on Yu Simon and Naylan Monley and absorbed their primordial Yin power. Only then did he recover. Furthermore, his cultivation base had also been greatly improved. He originally thought that he wouldn't have a chance to meet again. Who would have thought that he would hear about Supreme Venerable Myriad Star here? A powerhouse like Supreme Venerable Myriad Star is a master that no one dares to provoke in the starry sky world. In our star-scattered star region, he's a super powerhouse that can be ranked in the top 10. Which force dares to attack Supreme Venerable Myriad Star? A cultivator asked doubtfully. I'm not sure. The other party is very mysterious, the cultivator said. After a pause, the cultivator continued. But I heard that Supreme Venerable Myriad Star's daughter, Simon, has been looking for her father's old friends. She hopes to unite those powerhouses and rescue her father. But no one is willing to help. Of course, no one is willing to interfere in this kind of thing, lest they get into trouble, someone said. The others nodded. Since they dared to attack Supreme Venerable Myriad Star, they could roughly guess how powerful the cultivator was. Who would dare to provoke such a terrifying force? A delicate face appeared in Lin Feng's mind. Simon's appearance became clearer and clearer. No matter what, back then, Simon's virginity was taken away by Lin Feng. Fellow brothers! May I know where Simon is? Do you know? Lin Feng stood up, cupped his fists, and asked. Who are you? Why are you asking about Simon? Chapter 3465. After hearing this voice, Lin Feng looked in the direction of the voice and immediately saw a group of people. The person who spoke was a young man. This young man was dressed in blue and was extraordinarily handsome. He was very eye-catching. He was only around 30 to 40,000 years old. However, his strength was extremely tyrannical. His aura was terrifying and shocking. Such a young cultivator was naturally extraordinary. In addition, there were so many experts following him. It was obvious that this young cultivator was definitely from a top force. Of course, he didn't know which force he was from. Yes. Do you know Simon's whereabouts? Lin Feng looked at the young cultivator and asked. The young cultivator didn't answer Lin Feng. Instead, he asked, What's your relationship with Simon? Friend, Lin Feng replied. At this time, there's actually someone who dares to admit that he's Simon's friend. I have to say that your courage is really admirable. The cultivator couldn't help but say. Lin Feng couldn't help but raise his eyebrows slightly. This cultivator's tone was a little strange. Therefore, Lin Feng felt that this cultivator was very likely not on the same side as Simon. He might even be Simon's enemy. So what if I admit it? Lin Feng curled his lips and said. Kid! You're quite arrogant, said a tall and sturdy cultivator next to the young man. He looked at Lin Feng indifferently, and his eyes were filled with killing intent. Han Yi! Go and play with this kid, the young cultivator ordered. Yes, young master! Young master! After receiving the order, the cultivator jumped out and landed on the ground. He didn't hide his aura. A terrifying aura spread out from his body. Immortal Emperor! This cultivator was actually an Immortal Emperor expert. This level of cultivator was extremely powerful. Of course, to Lin Feng, he was naturally not a powerful expert. This was because Lin Feng's strength was too tyrannical. But to others, an Immortal Emperor level expert was absolutely terrifying to the extreme. Many diners who were eating changed their expressions after sensing the burly cultivator's aura. Who are those people? How could a random cultivator be so powerful? Are they cultivators from the force that attacked Supreme Sovereign Myriad Star? It's really possible. I'm afraid that Brad is finished. At this moment, many diners no longer cared about eating. They all stood up and watched the battle from afar. After the burly cultivator released his Immortal Emperor level aura, he directly released this aura, wanting to use this terrifying aura to intimidate Lin Feng. After sensing that terrifying aura, Lin Feng couldn't help but reveal a mocking expression. This person actually wanted to use his aura to suppress him. What a daydream! Lin Feng said sarcastically. You dare to release your aura to suppress this young master with just this bit of cultivation? You really don't know your place. If I were you, I would be so ashamed that I would buy a piece of tofu and kill myself. However, you seem to be feeling good about yourself. You really live up to the saying, the ignorant are fearless. Upon hearing Lin Feng's sarcastic words, the burly cultivator's face suddenly became extremely gloomy. You don't know what's good for you. I'm going to tear you apart. The cultivator roared and then directly threw a punch at Lin Feng. Lin Feng's expression was indifferent. He released a little bit of his aura, which directly enveloped the burly cultivator. The burly cultivator, who was rushing quickly toward Lin Feng, was actually imprisoned in place. He couldn't move at all. He couldn't go forward at all. You. The burly cultivator revealed an expression of disbelief. A young human cultivator with a lifespan of only about 100 years had actually suppressed him with his aura. This was too unbelievable. Oh my God, am I seeing things? The surrounding cultivators couldn't help but exclaim. They simply couldn't believe what they were seeing. It was really too unbelievable and shocking. He was so young. Yet he was so powerful. Lin Feng's combat strength shocked everyone's heart. Who is that brat? He's actually so powerful? It's really unbelievable. Yeah, he's too strong. It's really unbelievable. Many cultivators who were watching the show couldn't help but discuss softly. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. However, all of this was really happening in front of their eyes. They had no choice but to believe it. I couldn't tell that you were quite capable. Brat, let my people go. Then kneel down and swear to become my slave. I'll spare your life. The young man had his hands clasped behind his back and was looking down at Lin Feng. He said in an unquestionable tone. In his eyes, Lin Feng was like an ant or a dog. If Lin Feng dared to reject his suggestion, he could crush Lin Feng as easily as crushing an ant. He wanted Lin Feng to acknowledge him as his master. It was as if Lin Feng had cultivated his fortune in his previous life. This person is really arrogant. It's not arrogance. It's because this person is really terrifying. That's right. This person's cultivation is absolutely terrifying. Although he only emitted a trace of his aura, it doesn't seem to be weaker than the aura of some Imperial Emperor realm cultivators. That's right. Not only is this person powerful, but the force behind him is also so terrifying. Naturally, he wouldn't take that human brat seriously. Many people whispered to each other. Everyone looked at Lin Feng, wanting to know what choice Lin Feng would make. Pfft. At this moment, Lin Feng raised his right hand. Then, he raised his hand and slashed down. Pfft. Blood splattered out. The head of the burly cultivator who was suppressed by Lin Feng soared into the sky. He was directly killed by Lin Feng. The entire restaurant instantly became silent. Just now, the young cultivator had threatened Lin Feng. However, Lin Feng turned around and immediately killed the burly cultivator he suppressed. This was equivalent to a slap to the young cultivator's face. Lin Feng was too domineering. This was out of everyone's expectations. I've killed him! What can you do to me? After killing the burly cultivator, Lin Feng's lips curled into a sneer as he looked at the young cultivator. His eyes were filled with provocation. The cultivators in the restaurant who were watching the show couldn't help but become excited because this conflict didn't seem to be ending so easily. Although the young human cultivator's cultivation didn't seem too high, he might have cultivated some special technique to hide his cultivation. If that was the case, then there would be a show to watch. Chapter 3466. Anyone could see the disdain in the young cultivator's eyes. Perhaps he really did have an extraordinary background and powerful strength, but so what? Lin Feng didn't care at all. Lin Feng had always had an extremely domineering personality. He killed decisively. Others respected him. He respected others. If anyone dared to offend him, Lin Feng would return the favor tenfold, no, 100-fold. Someone like you dares to say that I've committed a capital offense? To deal with trash like you, I only need one hand to deal with you, Lin Feng said as he stretched out a hand and gestured in front of the young cultivator. Arrogant. Lin Feng was too arrogant. He treated the young man with disdain and contempt in front of so many people. It was a direct slap to the young man's face. The onlookers grew more and more excited. Although Lin Feng was incomparably arrogant. But the cultivators felt that there must be a reason for Lin Feng's arrogance. To cultivate to Lin Feng's level, who would be so overconfident? I haven't been angry in a long time. Anyone who offends me doesn't have a good ending, and you're no exception. Suppress this brat for me, then cut him into 1,000 pieces. The young man gave the order. Yes, young master. Following that, the dozen or so cultivators by the young man's side answered in succession. Boom! A terrifying aura emanated from the group of cultivators. Every single one of them was a great emperor. Heavens, why are there so many great emperors here? Where did these people come from? It's usually difficult to even see a great emperor, but this young man has so many great emperors by his side. The power behind him must be unimaginable. In the Starry Sky realm, there aren't many factions that can casually dispatch a dozen great emperors. Could he be a young master from one of the top 3,000 great realms? Many people began to guess the young man's identity. In fact, Lin Feng had also guessed this point. He felt that the young master was probably a direct descendant of one of the top 3,000 major worlds. This was the only way. Only that young master could mobilize so many great emperor resources. Or else, how could there be so many great emperors following that young man? The great emperors all charged towards Lin Feng. So many great emperors were attacking Lin Feng at the same time. In the eyes of many people, this time, Lin Feng was dead for sure. There was no way he could fight against so many great emperors at the same time. Shua! Right at this moment, Lin Feng raised his right hand. In the void, he gently waved his right hand. Suddenly, the terrifying sword she shook the void. He charged towards the group of great emperors who were flying towards him. The sword she was dazzling. In an instant he charged over. Bastard, you're courting death! The group of great emperors attacked coldly. They wanted to break Lin Feng's sword chi. However, no matter what kind of power the other party came from, Lin Feng didn't care. Lin Feng wanted to walk the path of invincibility. This path was destined to be incomparably firm. It was destined that the path would be filled with white bones and corpses. If he wanted to become a supreme being, he wanted to become a human emperor. He had to be fearless. Even if the other party was a creature that had crossed eras, he had to trample the other party under his feet. Lin Feng sneered. Trash only knows how to talk about the power behind him, and you are such a trash. 3 moves! Only 3 moves! I can suppress you! Arrogant. Lin Feng was too arrogant. He actually said that he could defeat this cultivator in 3 moves. This caused the surrounding people to be incomparably shocked. Kid! This young master wants to see what kind of ability you have to actually say such shameless words. Chapter 3467. The power of the heaven-flipping seal was extraordinary. It pressed down. It contained a terrifying power that could destroy heaven and earth, making one's hair stand on end. After feeling the terrifying aura emitted from this young master's body, everyone's face couldn't help but turn pale with fright. This young master's cultivation was indeed too powerful. I wonder if that young human cultivator is a match for that young master. Many cultivators couldn't help but take a deep breath. Then they said aloud. At this moment, that young man's fist was about to crash onto Lin Feng's body. Swish! Lin Feng's body moved slightly. Then, he raised his right hand and sent a palm strike towards the young master. Roar! A loud dragon roar resounded through the clouds. Lin Feng was using the ancestor's dragon punch, which was a powerful skill. An illusion of an ancestor's dragon appeared. It suppressed the world. Bang! Accompanied by the violent collision, Lin Feng and the young master collided. The void collapsed. Destructive power spread out from the cracked void. The power caused by that strike just now was simply apocalyptic. After the collision, Lin Feng didn't move at all, and the young cultivator was directly pushed back by Lin Feng. That young master of the human race is so strong! Yes, he's really too powerful. He definitely has the battle strength of an imperial emperor or above. When he saw that Lin Feng had forced the young man to retreat, he was furious. Many people couldn't help but gasp. The battle strength that Lin Feng displayed. It was really too terrifying. It made everyone's almost numb heart twitch again. Is that all you've got? You really disappoint me. Lin Feng looked at the young master indifferently. He stepped forward towards the young master. Then, Lin Feng's body emitted an aura of a king. With a thought, flowers bloom, the king descends to the world. A deep voice suddenly sounded. Lin Feng used a new ultimate skill. This was the great Tao inheritance of the Demon Lord. It was powerful. It shook one's soul. Now, Lin Feng was using this ability. Lin Feng immediately unleashed the aura of this divine ability. At this moment, his soul seemed to have truly transformed into a peerless monarch. When a sovereign descends from the heavens, who can contend against him? The young master's face was extremely gloomy and unsightly at this moment. The battle prowess Lin Feng displayed was actually able to suppress him. He couldn't accept it. His jealousy of Lin Feng was growing. Facing Lin Feng's attack, this young master did not dare to be careless. Rays of holy light surged out of his body. Sage limitless art! A deep roar suddenly rang out. This young master displayed a peerless divine ability. Endless holy light intertwined in the void. Every ray of holy light contained a power that could destroy the heavens and earth. The holy light condensed into a ball of energy. The energy ball's aura was simply too terrifying. The void around the energy ball began to distort violently. Crack! Crack! It was faintly discernible. It could be heard. The void was cracking. It was truly a shocking attack. This young master came from an extraordinary background, so he also possessed some extremely powerful divine abilities. Bang! Accompanied by a second violent collision sound, Lin Feng's a thought flower blooms, sovereign descends. Divine ability collided with the young master's sage limitless art. Everyone saw that. Lin Feng's divine ability instantly broke the young master's divine ability. The young master was sent flying by Lin Feng's divine ability. Wah! In midair, the young master spat out a mouthful of blood. His face. It was as pale as a sheet of paper. Defeated! Completely defeated! The two of them are not on the same level at all. Actually, that young master's cultivation is already strong enough. He definitely has the battle prowess of an imperial emperor. But that young human cultivator is simply too heaven-defying. That's right. That guy is really heaven-defying. It's been a long time since such a heaven-defying genius appeared in the human race, right? I haven't heard of such a tyrannical genius appearing in any human force recently. The world is so big. There are all kinds of strange things. We haven't heard of it, but that doesn't mean there aren't any. After all, some forces are more low-key. Even if such a top genius appears, I'm afraid the news won't leak out casually. That's right. That's indeed the case. I wonder which human force that young human cultivator is from? Many cultivators who were watching the battle couldn't help but discuss. At this moment, the injured young master knew that he was definitely no match for this young human cultivator. Although he was extremely resentful in his heart. However, now, he could only choose to escape. Otherwise, he would definitely die without a burial place. Brat, just you wait. I'm not done with you. The young master left behind a ruthless sentence, then turned around and fled outside. Lin Feng's expression was cold. He didn't give the young cultivator a chance to escape at all. He sneered and said, "It's too late for you to escape now. I'll let you have a taste of my ultimate technique, the 9 heavens and 10 earths supreme technique." As soon as his voice fell, Lin Feng directly used the 9 heavens and 10 earths supreme technique. At that moment, Everyone had a feeling that Lin Feng seemed to have transformed into the supreme ruler of heaven and earth. No one could compete with Lin Feng. The young master was locked down by Lin Feng and couldn't escape at all. After sensing the terrifying aura emitted from Lin Feng's body, the young master's face was filled with incomparable horror. "Limitless Universe Technique!" the young master roared. Facing Lin Feng's attack, he launched a counterattack. However, his divine ability was instantly broken by Lin Feng's 9 heavens and 10 earths supreme technique. Lin Feng's divine ability was simply too heaven-defying. Its power was so strong that it made people pale with fright. Bang! Kacha kacha! Accompanied by the sound of violent collision and the sound of bones breaking. Lin Feng's tyrannical attack directly bombarded the young master's chest. Wah! The young master couldn't help but vomit blood. His body couldn't bear it anymore. He directly fell to the ground. Lin Feng was like an invincible ruler as he walked towards the young master step by step. A powerful aura suppressed the young cultivator, making it difficult for him to struggle. "Do you know who I am? If you dare to hurt me, no one in the world can save your life. At that time, you will die without a burial place." Chapter 3468. You're about to die, yet you still dare to threaten me. What a joke! No matter how extraordinary your identity is, can you compare to the cultivators of the heavenly human race? I even dare to kill the cultivators of the heavenly human race, let alone you. Lin Feng sneered as he looked at the cultivator he suppressed. After hearing Lin Feng's words, everyone's expression changed. He even dared to kill the cultivators of the heavenly human race. He was really audacious. The young master who was suppressed by Lin Feng also had an ugly expression. From the beginning to the end, he had never figured out Lin Feng's identity and background. Now, Lin Feng actually said that he dared to kill the cultivators of the heavenly human race. Then, what was Lin Feng's identity? "What do I have to do for you to let me live?" The young master looked at Lin Feng and said. Lin Feng sneered and said, "Do you know fear now?" The young master's expression was gloomy. He didn't say anything. He lowered his head, but his eyes flickered with dense killing intent. He couldn't help but think in his heart, "Brat! Just you wait, as long as I can escape. When the time comes, I'll make sure you die without a burial ground." The young master's killing intent towards Lin Feng had risen to an uncontrollable level. However, the most important thing now was to escape. Once he escaped, he could call for reinforcements. The Imperial Emperor was no match for Lin Feng, so he could find an expert of the Emperor realm. Or even an expert of the Emperor realm. No matter how strong Lin Feng was. But now, he was only a mere 100 years old. Could it be that he could contend against the Emperor realm and the Emperor realm? The young master didn't believe that Lin Feng could do this. After hearing the young master's begging words, Lin Feng couldn't help but sneer. Since he had already formed a grudge with this person, Lin Feng naturally wouldn't let this person off. Lin Feng naturally understood the principle of letting the tiger return to the mountain. If he didn't kill this young master, then once this person escaped, he would definitely find trouble with him. Of course, if he killed this person, the person behind the young master might still find trouble with him. Since he had come to find trouble with him, why should he spare him? Lin Feng ignored the young master's pleas. He immediately used the soul-searching technique and placed his hand on the young master's forehead. Then, he used the soul-searching technique. "No! No! No!" The young master screamed in horror. Then it began to struggle. However, he was unable to struggle free. When Lin Feng searched the young master's soul, a terrifying power surged out from the depths of the young master's mind. That terrifying power instantly destroyed the young master's soul. Soul restriction! Lin Feng couldn't help but frown slightly. The young master's soul was destroyed by the soul restriction in his mind. As such, he couldn't get any information from the young man's soul. These major powers liked to set up soul restrictions in the minds of their clansmen. It was to prevent the secrets of the clan from being leaked out. However, setting up a soul restriction was too cruel for the clansman. Because once he was captured, if the other party used the soul-searching technique, he would be dead for sure. There was no other possibility. Lin Feng took the young master's storage ring and looked at the few cultivators who were talking about Yu Simon. Do you know where Yu Simon is? Lin Feng asked again. A cultivator said. We're not sure about that, but I think she should still be in the Star Luo starfield. Thank you for telling me. Lin Feng cupped his fists and left quickly. If it was a stranger, it naturally had nothing to do with Lin Feng and Lin Feng wouldn't care. However, Yu Simon was different. After all, Yu Simon's relationship with Lin Feng was not ordinary. Lin Feng used the Xiantian 8 trigrams to deduce Yu Simon's location. However, this wasn't easy to deduce. He tried many times but failed. In the end, just now, he had deduced a rough direction. Star Luo starfield. Myriad Kingdom star. This was one of the top few stars in the Star Luo starfield. Although the Myriad Kingdom star wasn't very big, it was unique. However, the Myriad Kingdom star was unique in that there were many countries on it. There were simply too many countries. Hence, this star was called the Myriad Kingdom star. Some people jokingly called it. After arriving at the Myriad Kingdom star, they threw out a pair of shoes. Anyone who was hit by the shoes might be a relative of a country's royal family. Although it was a little exaggerated, it also reflected the uniqueness of the Myriad Kingdom star. Is she on this star? Lin Feng arrived at the Myriad Kingdom star. He had roughly deduced that Yu Simon was here, but Lin Feng wasn't sure if Yu Simon was really here. Hence, Lin Feng decided to head to the Myriad Kingdom star to investigate. The Myriad Kingdom star was extremely lively. It was one of the most lively stars in the Star Luo starfield. The Myriad Kingdom Star Lord was an Emperor-level expert called the Myriad Kingdom Emperor. This Emperor Realm Master was incomparably powerful. Very few people dared to provoke this existence. Hence, the Myriad Kingdom Star had an extraordinary status. Lin Feng arrived at the number 1 ancient city on the Myriad Kingdom Star, the Myriad Kingdom City. He planned to inquire about Yu Simon here, but he didn't expect that not long after arriving, Lin Feng would see Yu Simon in a hurry. It had been many years. Yu Simon was still as beautiful as ever. However, due to her father, the Myriad Kingdom Star Lord, Yu Simon was running around, so she looked much thinner than before. Because Yu Simon was in a hurry, she didn't notice Lin Feng. Lin Feng saw Yu Simon arriving at the entrance of the Myriad Kingdom City's City Lord Manor, and handing over a visiting card. The guard leader glanced at it and said, "The Lord Star Lord isn't here. Fairy Yu, please wait for the Lord Star Lord to arrive before paying a visit." Yu Simon asked, "May I know when Uncle Myriad Kingdom Emperor will return?" "The Lord Star Lord is out to meet with friends. It's hard to say when he will return," the guard leader said. "If Uncle Wangua comes back, I would like to ask this lord to enter the message into this paper crane," Yu Simon said as she took out a paper crane and handed it to the guard leader. This paper crane was very mysterious. One could communicate with the paper crane using one's divine sense, and then transmit some information to the paper crane. After receiving the information, the paper crane would turn into a red-crowned crane and transmit the information to the person who wanted to transmit it. "Okay," the guard leader said. "Many thanks." Yu Simon bowed to the guard leader and left with a lot on her mind. After Yu Simon left, the guard leader looked at the paper crane in his hand and couldn't help but sneer. A ball of demonic fire surged out from his hand and enveloped the paper crane. Next, the ball of demonic fire burned fiercely. In the blink of an eye, Chapter 3469. This scene was seen by Lin Feng. Lin Feng had already thought of this. That so-called Emperor of 10,000 Kingdoms didn't want to see Yu Simon at all. That was why he told his subordinates to say that he went out to visit a friend. Therefore, Yu Simon's paper crane naturally couldn't be delivered to the Emperor of 10,000 Kingdoms. Why did those people attack Yu Simon's father? Could it be that Yu Simon's father has something that they want? Now that they still haven't killed Yu Simon's father, does that mean that Yu Simon's father is hiding that thing? Is that why those people haven't killed Yu Simon's father, because they haven't gotten that thing yet? Lin Feng couldn't help but think. The world was bustling for benefits. If there were no benefits, no one would dare to offend an emperor realm master. Yu Simon walked on the street, but this bustling street didn't seem to have anything to do with her. She felt a deep sense of exhaustion. Yu Simon really wanted to rest. But she couldn't do that. Yu Simon's mother had passed away when she was very young. Yu Simon was brought up by her father. Yu Simon told herself. No matter what, she had to find a way to save her father. She planned to wait for a few more days on Myriad Kingdom Star. Maybe she could wait for the Emperor of 10,000 Kingdoms to return. Although deep in her heart, Yu Simon knew why she couldn't see the Emperor of 10,000 Kingdoms. But Yu Simon wanted to leave herself a glimmer of hope. Perhaps everyone was like this. When endless despair shrouded them, they had no choice but to accept it. They needed some hope to survive. This was the motivation to work hard to survive. If there was no hope at all, no matter how strong a person was, they would definitely be crushed by the merciless reality. Suddenly, Yu Simon felt that her willowy waist was hugged by a pair of thick and powerful hands. Not good! Yu Simon's pretty face suddenly changed. At that moment, she thought of those people from the enemy forces. Those people had been searching for her whereabouts. And there were many people spying on her appearance. The other party had found her? Did he want to capture her and do something inhumane to her? Yu Simon slapped her palm to the side. Tisk tsk. Old lovers, why are you attacking as soon as you meet? Lin Feng grabbed Yu Simon's palm and smiled at Yu Simon. It's you! At this time, Yu Simon clearly saw who Lin Feng was. She was extremely surprised. She didn't expect to see Lin Feng here. Yu Simon would never forget what had happened in the Nine States world. It was in the Nine States macro world that she lost her pure virginity. And the man who had obtained her virginity was the man in front of her. Therefore, how could Yu Simon forget the man in front of her? At that time, Yu Simon hated Lin Feng so much that she gnashed her teeth. He wished he could chop Lin Feng into pieces. However, as time passed and the family suffered a tragic change, the family became more and more powerful. Yu Simon no longer had the time to think about the matter between her and Lin Feng. Perhaps they would never meet again in this life. But now they met again. It was just that Yu Simon didn't expect that when she saw Lin Feng again, she didn't have a trace of hatred in her heart. She even had a complicated feeling about it. Yu Simon needed someone to rely on. Could this man who had obtained her body be her pillar of support? Little man, have you missed me all these years? I missed you very much. Didn't you say you would come to propose marriage to father-in-law? Aren't I here now? Lin Feng said with a smile. After hearing Lin Feng's words, Yu Simon immediately spat at Lin Feng. Her pretty face couldn't help but blush slightly. Whoosh! 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 At this moment, many figures rushed over from all directions. Suddenly, the endless stream of people on the surrounding streets all disappeared without a trace. Except for the cultivators who were walking towards Lin Feng and Yu Simon from all directions. There was no one else. Oh no! Yu Simon's expression suddenly changed. She naturally knew what had happened. Someone wanted to deal with her. Moreover, the other party had used a large array to trap her and Lin Feng. There were a total of 13 people on the other side. These people all had powerful auras and were proficient in large arrays. Yu Simon! You're really a slut! At this time, you still have the mood to flirt with another man! A cultivator sneered. Wan Qing, it's you! At this time, Yu Simon saw clearly who had come, and her pretty face suddenly became extremely ugly. Who is he? Lin Feng couldn't help but ask curiously. Yu Simon seemed to know this cultivator. However, these people obviously came with ill intentions. This is someone from the city lord's mansion. This person is the nephew of the Emperor of 10,000 Kingdoms, Yu Simon said. Then she whispered, This person's father visited my father back then and wanted to matchmake me with this person. However, this person had evil intentions, so my father didn't agree. I also hate this person very much. Lin Feng nodded. Now that Yu Simon's family was in trouble. Therefore, this Wan Qing jumped out to add insult to injury. Wan Qing! What are you trying to do? Yu Simon asked with an ugly expression. What am I trying to do? Ha ha! Wan Qing laughed loudly. This young master just happened to cultivate a technique to pluck one's vitality. I want to capture you and try it out. You! Shameless! Yu Simon's pretty face instantly turned ugly, and she couldn't help but curse. I'm shameless? No matter how shameless I am, I'm still a slut. Didn't they all say that you're a pure goddess? Do you think this young master can't see your current situation? Saying that you're a pure goddess is simply an insult to the word. A slut will always be a slut, fooling around outside. This pretty boy is good-looking but useless. It's better for him to follow this young master in the future. Wan Qing was extremely arrogant. His cultivation was extremely strong, and he had brought 12 experts with him. Therefore, he was full of confidence. In his opinion, Yu Simon and Lin Feng couldn't escape even if they had wings. After hearing Wan Qing's vulgar words, Yu Simon was so angry that her body trembled. Wan Qing, my father and the Emperor of 10,000 Kingdoms are best friends. Don't go overboard. That won't do anyone any good. Yu Simon said coldly. Wan Qing said disdainfully, Your father used to be best friends with my uncle, but it's different now. Your father has become a prisoner, and you've become a fallen phoenix. Chapter 3470. Wan Qing thought that he had everything under control. He looked at Lin Feng with contempt and sarcasm. He didn't take Lin Feng seriously at all. Of course. The main reason was that Lin Feng was too young, and he was from the human clan, which had already declined. Wan Qing naturally looked down on Lin Feng. Yu Simon was very nervous. She didn't know what choice Lin Feng would make. However, the situation was dangerous now. In Yu Simon's opinion, Lin Feng would probably choose to give up on her. She didn't have any deep feelings for Lin Feng. The only connection was that her virginity was taken by Lin Feng. If she thought that Lin Feng would give up his life to protect her because Lin Feng took her virginity, she would be too naive. Every man for himself. Heaven and earth destroyed. Yu Simon was used to the deception in the cultivation world. She was used to the life and death battles in the cultivation world. She was used to too many things in the cultivation world. It was because of this that Yu Simon didn't have much hope. How dare you covet my woman? Is your head on your butt? Lin Feng looked at Wan Qing sarcastically. As he spoke, he hugged Yu Simon tightly in his arms and looked at Wan Qing provocatively. Yu Simon suddenly looked up. There were tears in her eyes. At this moment, Lin Feng expressed his attitude and instantly hit the soft spot in her heart. At that moment, Yu Simon had a feeling that even if she died now, she would have no regrets. Lin Feng! These people are too powerful. We are no match for them at all. I still have a boundary-breaking talisman here. I will hold them back. Quickly take the boundary-breaking talisman and run away. If there is a next life, I hope we can meet earlier, Yu Simon said with a trembling voice. She was holding a boundary-breaking talisman in her hand. She wanted to give it to Lin Feng. She wanted Lin Feng to leave this place quickly. I only ask for this life, not the next. Lin Feng looked at Yu Simon and helped her tidy up her messy hair. Then he said, These people are so stupid. To me, they were all like ants and dogs. You don't have to worry. After hearing Lin Feng's words, Yu Simon was stunned. His face was filled with disbelief. Wan Qing was a peak immortal emperor. As for the rest, all of them were immortal emperors. 13 immortal emperors joined forces. On top of that, he had also set up a gigantic deployment spell, and Lin Feng had said that those people were like ants in front of him. Is this true? No matter how he listened to it, they all found it inconceivable. Therefore, Yu Simon thought. Lin Feng's words were actually meant to comfort himself. Yu Simon said anxiously, Lin Feng, hurry up and leave. Otherwise, you won't be able to leave even if you want to. I'm begging you, okay? Speaking of which, there was a hint of sobbing in his voice. She was really a woman who made people feel sorry for her. Brat! Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish today. Wan Qing's expression was indifferent. He waved his hand and instantly, 12 immortal emperors appeared, including Wan Qing himself. They all rushed towards Lin Feng. Everyone's body emitted extremely terrifying waves of energy. Those waves of energy. It was as if they could destroy heaven and earth. It was suffocating. It was hair-raising. These people attacked with all kinds of attacks. The power of each attack was extremely terrifying. It was shocking. When the 13 of them attacked together, the power was naturally even more terrifying. 13 kinds of supernatural powers gathered together and turned into a long river of supernatural powers that flooded towards Lin Feng and Yu Simon. After feeling how terrifying the attacks of the 13 people were, Yu Simon's beautiful face couldn't help but reveal an expression of extreme despair. At this moment, Yu Simon wanted to crush the boundary-breaking talisman and teleport Lin Feng out. At the same time, she wanted to stop Wan Qing and the others. However, Lin Feng had already made his move. Yu Simon saw a scene that shocked her. Facing the attacks of the 13 immortal emperors, Lin Feng gently pressed down across the void. In an instant, a giant hand of energy was formed. The giant hand of energy descended from the sky and pressed down on the 13 powerhouses. That huge energy hand contained a terrifying power that could destroy the world. Bang! Following the violent collision, Lin Feng's huge energy hand instantly broke the supernatural powers of the 13 immortal emperors. Impossible! The 13 immortal emperors couldn't help but cry out in horror. They couldn't believe their eyes. Lin Feng, a young human cultivator, broke their combined supernatural power river with such a simple attack. This was too inconceivable. However, no matter how unwilling these people were to believe what they were seeing, it was indeed happening right in front of their eyes. They had no choice but to believe it. The 13 immortal emperors sensed danger. Therefore, they quickly retreated, wanting to avoid Lin Feng's killing blow. However, it was too late. The huge energy hand formed by Lin Feng instantly blasted the 13 experts. Bang bang bang, kacha kacha kacha, accompanied by the sound of 13 collisions and the sound of bones breaking. The 13 immortal emperors were all sent flying. Who knew how many bones in their bodies were broken? Plop! 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 Then, the 13 immortal emperors all fell to the ground. Their bodies didn't move. They were all dead. Lin Feng killed the 13 immortal emperors in one move. Oh my God! Yu Simon's red lips opened slightly. She was so shocked that she couldn't speak. At this moment, it was really mesmerizing. After Lin Feng collected the storage rings of the 13 immortal emperors, he grabbed Yu Simon's jade-like hand and said, "Let's go." Only then did Yu Simon come back to her senses. She wanted to say something, but this wasn't the time to talk about it. Yu Simon allowed Lin Feng to grab her hand and followed Lin Feng into the distance. The illusion array set up by Wan Qing and the others disappeared. Once again, the streets were bustling with activity as people came and went. Lin Feng and Yu Simon quickly left. The corpses of Wan Qing and the others were lying on the ground. Soon, someone discovered their corpses. A large number of cultivators quickly gathered. Everyone was pointing and whispering amongst themselves. The Myriad Kingdom Star wasn't a place to stay for long. Lin Feng and Yu Simon left the Myriad Kingdom Star. How did you become so powerful? On the ancient starship Xianyuan, Yu Simon looked at Lin Feng in disbelief. Lin Feng smiled and said, "I had my own fortuitous encounter." Yu Simon couldn't help but snort. She didn't seem to be satisfied with Lin Feng's answer. Yu Simon had a graceful figure and a beautiful face. Her snort added a hint of playfulness. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Nights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.